That's why I bought 10,000 pounds the other day. I call it defensive baiting, but feeding, basically. Yeah, not to say we wouldn't shoot one off of it.
Yeah, not to say I wouldn't take the offense if the situation was right.
Yeah, hey, the best offense is a good defense. That's true. HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Deer Grow.
Man, we've been using Deer Grow products for a long time. The Plot Start and Plot Boost, more recently Plot Till. Now we've got 3 new liquid fertilizers that have been put in the mix that will cover everything we could want for a food plot program.
It's huge, man. The more food plotting we do, it's like, man, the liquids just make sense. Like whether it's herbicides or the Plot Start and Plot Boost, and now the fertilizers getting mixed in. It's like, man, I can combine all of those in certain cases and do less passes for more results.
I mean, it's all about efficiency. I mean, like you said, less passes. If you're out there treating your beans with glyphosate in the summertime, you can mix in this fertilizer, do that all at once. You have the boost in there that helps the metabolism. It's all about efficiency when we're talking about food plots. And really the big difference on these liquid fertilizers is you're bypassing some of these soil limitations, pH limitations, the soil type. In a lot of cases, we talk about dry fertilizers only being available for 17% of what you put down in the first year. These liquid fertilizers straight into the plant are 90% available in the first year. Huge difference in what you're going to see in growth.
It's huge. And so right now you can use code HUNTR15 for 15% off any of the Deer Grow products on their website. And as always,
better food plots, bigger deer. And we're back.
Hey,
HUNTR Podcast, episode 201.
Here we go.
Starting a new century here.
Yeah, buddy. We did flip the book there, or whatever you would say.
Yeah.
Broke the barrier.
Broke the barrier.
Threshold.
Yep. You know, that's we just take down walls. It's kind of what we do.
Breaking down barriers. That's right. So. Yeah. So, hey, wherever you guys are listening to us from, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, we appreciate you guys being here. Give us a like, follow, or subscribe, whatever's appropriate for the channel. One of those will give you a notification on when these episodes drop, but it's Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern every week, and we're in a bit of a habit here of twice a week. So we're probably into that by now. Mm-hmm. If you've written us on Instagram DM or the website, we appreciate it, and we are working on to get back to you. I know that sometimes those get backlogged, but we have a systematic,
chaos.
We're getting there. So appreciate that. We also have some new merch on the website. Jeremy and I have been working on some cool designs, and the guy sitting next to me here, who we're going to introduce in a minute, has helped us with some of that. And so we're grateful for him and excited for those. And so buy some stuff. We appreciate that. And with that, Here we go.
Speaking of DMs, just a quick mention, we got these cool ass knives from Rafter P Customs.
Yeah, isn't that neat?
Pretty freaking awesome.
That's pretty neat.
He's like, hey, we're going to send you some knives. We're like, okay. And here they are.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool. I'm super proud. I haven't played with mine too much, but I do love a fixed blade for the bag.
Yeah, a little skin in action there.
So that's what mine will be, a gut knife.
I like that. Well, if you're listening to this, it's probably early September. We were trying to pinpoint it earlier. Depends how many drop doubles, essentially. But early September, which means Jared will have either been hunting and or is hunting in North Dakota by the time this airs, and I will either be hunting in Kentucky.
It's that soon, or can you believe that?
I am hunting in Kentucky. Yeah. I don't know. One of those two. But we're in it. It is here.
Yeah.
So, feels good to talk about a podcast where it's like the season is here now.
It's all of a sudden, buddy. I told you that's what happens. It's like you sit around and you drink bourbon and you talk, and then all of a sudden here it is.
Here it is. You wake up one day and you're like, what?
You wake up
September?
Yeah. Well, that will happen when you plan on starting October 1st and then last minute decide to start September 1st. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about that.
Yep. But we've got in-studio guests today. We've got Keegan and TJ here. I guess both from Rack Hub. It would be the
Is that how you're going with it? Or Keegan, you can introduce your company as well too. So.
Oh, Rack Hub.
You're here as Rack Hub.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So Keegan and TJ from Rack Hub.
It's from Rack Hub, of which we've got a really cool display here that people will see in the old Mevo aerial here.
Oh, yeah.
Badass looking. Really cool looking.
Yep, very cool. And a table full here of show and tell. So
yeah,
which
we'll have it.
Yeah, we'll get to. But TJ, let's start with you. You're a returning guest. Congratulations.
Thank you. Honored.
It's a pretty tight category there of people that are returning guests now in studio.
Yeah.
So it's an upgrade.
No, you've done well. It looks nice. I can almost miss the lights with my head when I walk in, but
yeah.
You're a little taller than us, so
yeah.
We have a lot of Rack Hub representation.
You do
here.
You should be proud of us.
Littered with it.
Yeah,
I am proud.
It doesn't just go in a box; it goes on the wall.
Wow. That should go on a t-shirt.
Even the unicorn made it.
Well, and Cody can attest too. At my house, my office is decked out with them too.
Is it true?
Validated.
See
that?
Validated. I heard it. Yeah. Okay.
Pretty
All
good.
Right. All right.
Put them to use.
I don't know, pat on the back or what.
Well, yeah,
you know, hey, yeah.
yeah.
A round of applause is fine.
Just
okay.
a simple round of applause.
Good job, guys.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Proud of you.
Well, it's kind of funny. We were talking pre-podcast, like we were saying, like we've been on this binge. It's just like whatever, number 6 in a week and change, and I think all but one of those has actually been in studio, which is like an extreme rarity for us. We're like the next Joe Rogan here.
Yeah. Right.
I like it.
Well, well, we always push for that. So
It's tough.
You've done the remote ones,
Yeah.
right? And so I try, or I'm not going to like hold anybody hostage and say like the only way we're going to do it is in person, but I sell it pretty hard. I'm like, listen, if we're going to do it, like we'll wait. The timing is not as important as if we can get you here in person. Because it's like, here we are. We can sit, we can drink bourbon together, and we can do show and tell, and this is the way to do it.
It just hits different.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, I mean, Cody in our studio audience flew from Florida just to listen to you guys talk. It's amazing.
Yeah, love it.
Thanks, Cody.
Cody's got the longest.
Appreciate it, bud.
We didn't print a plaque or anything, but I think he has the longest travel award. So
You guys need to send him one.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
we'll send you free RH2 courtesy of
courtesy of Rackham.
Yeah, Cody.
We're good for it, right?
Just give me your address,
Yep,
Cody.
guaranteed.
We'll take care of you.
So TJ, you guys came from Indiana?
Yes, born and raised.
Born and raised in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which we won't get into it too quickly, but you guys just legalized crossbows, I believe.
They've been legal.
Have they?
Keegan, do you want to talk about it?
We need to get deeper into that.
From the perspective of a
I was
lifelong
literally
crossbow
on-
hunter, obviously.
Yeah, right.
I was literally on the phone on the way out here with somebody and said, it's not in my vocabulary.
Yeah.
It's a cross gun. But anyways,
Yeah.
we won't go there.
You'll fit in well this conversation.
So is that true? It's a new, or it
I
has
thought it was
passed?
fairly new. It hasn't been?
It's been, and you can essentially take any rifle out to the field too.
Wow.
Literally.
And we're fairly flat up north, so it's a concern for us up north. But yeah.
I guess we were talking in Cody's podcast, the Huff Buck was an Indiana buck, right? And that was a crossbow deer.
Crossbow.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah, that is true. You guys can't bait though, right?
No.
Legally.
Boy, that
I was
didn't
gonna
take
say.
long.
Not legally. Not legally.
Sure, you can.
Yeah. Just not legal.
May I? Yeah.
May I?
use the restroom?
May I?
Yeah. So born and raised Indiana.
Yep.
Up north.
Northern Indiana. So near Fort Wayne and north of Indy, about an hour and a half.
Okay.
And grew up excavating. Went to school to study industrial design. There's a whole story how I got there. Didn't even know about it. And then always been a hunter, like all of us, and love making things. And eventually we started Rack Hub in 2018 officially. While
Wow.
I was working at Delta Faucet Company, so in Indianapolis, plumbing products, designing those, but just had to scratch that outdoor itch. So we saw an opportunity and went for it, and people were buying it. So here we are.
Here you are.
He
Yeah.
started a lot of things, though.
Yeah. Give us a rundown. So
Yeah,
you're
well-
a bit of an entrepreneur.
I was going to say the
Absolutely.
Eads design
Not a
side.
little bit. He is.
Yep.
We talked about, us engaging you guys to help us design this whole new apparel line that we just launched.
Yeah, so we, again, grew up excavating, thought I was going to be a landscape architect. It's just architecture is a longer timeline. I like to move fast and have a variety of projects, not be all in on one thing, just how I'm wired. So when I was working at Delta Faucet Company, my wife and I designed our home because we wanted to keep our family close to family, raise our kids near cousins, aunts and uncles. It's important to us. So that was our foundation, our hub. So me growing up excavating, my wife, her dad is a building contractor. So we designed it and his family built. We had our hub there. Well, we were commuting. She was going 45 minutes north. I was going an hour and a half south. So we were splitting, almost 2.5 hours, 2.25 every day. And it wasn't sustainable. So we had our first daughter. We've got 3 now. Keegan knows. He just had a new one. So
You have 3 girls?
3 girls.
Wow. That's a lot of estrogen eventually flying around
For
the
sure.
house.
Yeah, we can talk offline on all that stuff. But no, blessed. Anyway, splitting ended up that's not going to be sustainable. My wife quit her job. We felt like God led us to do that. I got a raise then at my current job, but as Cameron grew, our first daughter grew, it's like, this isn't going to work. You got ball games and extracurriculars. I'm going to be an hour
That's
and
a
a half
ton.
away.
That's a
And
huge amount of travel.
What if there's an emergency?
Yeah.
So that's when, we started Rack Hub in 2018 while I was still at Delta. And it's just a side hustle and it's growing. Obviously, there's a lot more people involved. We started Big 8 Products, which we grew and then sold to Wicked North Gear. They own that. So Rack Hub, D2C, made here. big 8 was making some things overseas, some here, different direct to market. So different strategy, different demographics, different sales channels. Sold that off and started Eads Design in 2019. That's when I made the leap from Delta. So that was, I shook hands with Novix.
Yep.
That was the first client at the time. We ate ramen for a couple years and just been slowly getting more and more clients.
Went head first into COVID in 2020.
Oh, it was beautiful timing for everything, but
For sure.
we got it, and God led us. He had a plan, and here we are. And now we got AJ that worked full time. So AJ needs the credit for your guys' swag.
Sure.
So
You're
that
right.
dude crushed it on that.
Yeah, he
You
was
worked
awesome.
with him quite a bit.
Yep.
And then we do product design mostly, but we help some people with apparel. You guys are
Special.
special,
Yeah,
special.
Yeah.
in the way, you know what I mean. Special.
Not that
Right.
special.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, but mostly product design for
I think we're all talking about the same thing.
Yeah, same thing. Special, right?
special. Yeah. Ed. Then,
Yeah.
we Half Rack started Half Rack, and that was acquired by American Pride Outdoors, which owns Novix. So we designed for Novix, Half Rack, Dialed, Trophy Line, obviously Rack Hub, and there's some new ones we're talking to, others that we're working with. Apologize for getting, but we're fortunate to work with a lot of awesome people in the outdoor community, and we do some, like we still work for Delta now on consultant basis and others.
Oh, wow.
So outside the industry, it helps keep us honest and humble. And
Yeah, the industry can be
Earning
brutal sometimes, so it's nice to have diversification.
well, you guys know, you guys been in it for a minute, and it's ever changing. So we try not to have all our eggs in one basket, but yeah, just
Smart.
kind of accidentally have started a company, see opportunities and try it, and we don't always win, but
Well, it's
nice
cool when you
do.
get into categories, especially as like an outdoorsman, to be like, you know, there's a void,
Yeah.
right? And so, you know, when you have that background, the ability to essentially go out there and fill that void because you can create the products makes it pretty easy.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. And it's all about having the right people lined up for each, because it's, you guys know, ideas, I don't know, 2% of the
Yeah.
thing. The 98 is the doing. And that takes a lot of good people that you surrounded yourself with, built relationships with, that'll jump in the trench and shovel with you. So that's what we have, and we're fortunate to have, is a lot of awesome people that make things happen. So, and Keegan was one we met along the way 3 years ago, Keegan, 4?
We were trying to put the calendar up this morning, and
Yeah, we were trying to get our love story straight on the drive in.
we weren't holding hands though, but
Yeah.
we should have.
No anniversary?
I
No box,
I don't
no
know
box
when
of
it would
chocolate?
be.
We could find
mean,
out.
not for
Yeah,
him.
we can find
He-
out. Look in the DMs.
Yeah, he hit us up on the DMs, Rack
Ah,
Hub,
that's
3,
how I met
4
my
years
wife.
ago.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, well,
So what's your background,
said wife,
Keegan? Where,
let's-
where are you coming
yeah,
from?
so I'm located an hour north of TJ, small town of Warsaw, Indiana, so northern Indiana. Graduated college in 17. Started at Stephen Gould then, and we are in a industrial area, so a lot of med device, automotive. So
Yep.
I spent a lot of my time in that arena with packaging. Met TJ and said, "Hey, man, I want to dive." So I think the first project, I was trying to think of that last
first
night.
one?
First one, ABB, I think.
probably ABB.
Yeah.
Brad was looped in.
Yep,
Brad Beaver, he's
America's
been a
Best
part of.
Bowstring.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was the first project.
Yeah,
And then
and
it snowballed from there.
it's 20 plus now that you're working on, I know, and a
Well,
lot
that,
of
that
big
industrial
brands.
area gives me like I'm picturing like I make packaging for the American working man 'cause that's who I am and that's who I care about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, very nice.
And it is. It's cool, right? You know, I spend my time, you know, packaging bumpers for the Ford Bronco.
Yep.
So it is cool. Not as cool as this.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
We were on the drive in, and he was tackling emails. I think he had 30 plus this morning. He woke up to and delegating the right people, and he was on with some food company and then some automotive company, and it's pretty cool, the variety. But the passion you can't fight off with this industry. Just what I've seen.
100%.
So is this your first tie into the hunting industry? Was starting to work with TJ?
Yeah, I mean, I take that back. The first project was Accubow, Matt Pell.
Okay.
Oh, the Accu.
There you go.
Feel free to get right up on
Sorry.
it. Pull
I've got one
You're
around.
good. Pull it up to you.
Yeah.
I had
So
one
Matt-
for a while.
Kids have one.
Yeah, Matt Pell. We did the Sportsman's Warehouse display. That was the first project. That was a DM project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I think I got this. I'm going to reach out to TJ. Don't know who he is, but I'm going to reach out.
That's pretty cool.
And how did you come across TJ?
We
From
Instagram.
Instagram DM, you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
You saw some stuff he was doing
Yeah.
with Rack Hub or one of the other brands. Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
I think the interesting thing around the packaging side is like, especially in this industry, you know, as we've kind of, we still have a heavy presence in retail, obviously, but a lot of products, you know, are going D2C side. And with that, I think a lot of people have taken their eyes off of the packaging aspect, right? Because it's like, once you buy the product, you have it. I can deliver it to you in a paper sack, and like, as long as it's good product, you have it. There's still, I think we've changed out of that here, especially maybe since COVID, to where like people appreciate even getting a direct to consumer to have like nice packaging, like just as a reaffirmation of when they get that product.
100%.
So yeah, it's kind of a unique cycle there where, I mean, shelf appeal was everything. And then it kind of was like, well, if you just get it from Amazon, like who cares? It comes in a brown Amazon box. Then, you know, now you've circled back, like you still want that to be in a presentable situation.
Mm-hmm. Hit the 100%. Nail on the head, didn't he?
100%.
The challenge that we're facing, Keegan as well, and the other clients, because we stay in the loop on everything, is trying to make it work for both. Mm-hmm. Because having a retail, you know, having it sit on the shelf, it's got to jump at you for you to pick it up, grab it, and be the thing that you need. But then it's also got to keep the product safe, protected to get to you in D2C. And then you're thinking about master packs, pallets. Well, how many can I get on a pallet? You don't want to be shipping air. So a lot of times we'll start new projects for clients for Eads design where, okay, our pallet is the constraint. Mm-hmm. How many
can we fit on?
How can we fit in so we're not shipping air? How much do we have to chop this product to get it in the smallest size box, but also be presentable at retail? Does it need a clear window? Are we clamming it? Are we doing something new? So there's a lot of times we're just having conversation going back and forth before you even start designing. Because you want to know where you're going before you even start.
Yep. You know, I think when you get into that packaging aspect of things, you know, at least from an industry side, like, you know, you can go through some of the iconic brands probably and think about how they've been presented. But, you know, I'm just trying to think of, and again, I probably shop 99% of the time online at this point, but I'm just trying to think of like what were the packagings that like really jumped off the shelf at you. You were like, damn, like they did a good job at it. Like I remember when Moultrie rebranded all their stuff to like the clean white and green, and like that had a very distinct look on a shelf. Or, you know, Muddy's orange, you know, had a really distinct look on the shelf. But I think there's a ton of like probably what I would consider really good products that just very lackluster when it comes to that. And I bet it hurts them at the sales side.
Some of the Hunter specialties, or the yellows jumped out to me. I remember that.
Yep, that big rebrand.
Truthfully, I don't. I'm trying to remember though, like because for a time there was like there were products that I was like people will always buy these in retail. It was like boots, and you know. I don't know what my thought was. Maybe things that had like serious shipping constraints.
Feel like a tree stand.
Yep. But anymore, I mean, truthfully, the packaging for me is like when I get it, it's like there's an expectation of quality, and I'm like, and when I open it, maybe it is in another box or something, but I pull it, I'm like, yeah, here it is.
Yeah.
Like this is sharp and this is nice.
It's got to be an experience.
Yeah, it's part of it.
You know.
Yeah.
And that's the brand that does go big box, right? You know, we said this morning, there's a lot of companies in the space that have done it so well that they have the direct consumer marketing, but you can still buy it big box.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that are killing it. And so from that perspective, they've got the experience when they do send D2C. There was an RH2 box, right? So when you get it, you open up, there's print on the inside, that type of concept.
Yeah, it's a presentation.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's the stuff that you start to look through and kind of think back on some of the products that you get. And again, you know, not getting into the weeds on like there are certain things that have to be on some of the boxes, you know, from a warning label standpoint, and you know, sometimes multiple languages, and like so there are things like that come into play. But from just a pure information and engagement side, yeah, I mean, I think it probably is one of the areas that gets shorted a lot. And, you know, just people overlook it. But, I mean, nobody's going to argue with you about, like, having a really good presentation when you receive it, you know, especially in a direct-to-consumer, because it is easy to cut the short, you know, make a shortcut there.
Oh, yeah, you're looking at your bill of materials, and you got to hit the margins. Everybody's got to make money. So packaging, unfortunately, and Keegan always reminds us, they're the last one to be thought about, and they always have to rush everything. And then,
hey, we need to ship that next week.
Well, like even like I look at like our Deer Grow products and stuff. I mean, it's a brown box with Deer Grow label on it. And on the new fertilizers, it says what's in it, but ultimately those boxes get beat to hell by UPS, right? Because that is the outer box. Like we try to make the presentation on the labels and then on the products better, but it's like
even at retail too. I mean, those guys are like the tree stand boxes. They're all just getting chucked on the shelf.
Yeah, they're beat the shit. 100%. And it's hard to keep those. So there's that element of side of it that you're just like, well, what do I expect from it? But I mean, hell, some of those boxes, like everything that you need to know is on the box. There is nothing inside.
Right.
Well, and for a guy like me, I don't read instructions per TJ earlier. So
clearly,
hopefully there's one. If it's a complicated or it requires some input, and there's opportunity for user error, I need like step 1, 2, 3, and that's all I'm going to read. I'm going to read it backwards with my dyslexia and ADHD. So that's what I need. I need it on the box. Just crank it, and there it is.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, and it's coming back to the point of our product gets beat up, right? Mm-hmm. And so we have to be conscious of, okay, are we going to ship this product, this $300 knife in just this box, and that's the box that the consumer is going to get, or are we sticking a box in a box?
Yeah, box and box.
And so that's where we weigh all these different scenarios and try to come up with the best solution for that consumer, for the brand that is selling to that consumer.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys consider returns? Like when you're designing packaging, you're like, hey, listen, there's 25% of these or whatever it is are going to get returned because it's the wrong size or it's not what they wanted or it's busted or something.
Not in this space.
No?
No.
Yeah.
Not in this space. Now there are in the electronics industry, which we spend a lot of time in. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. You got to think about, they're going to repackage that thing and mail it back.
That's what I do when I'm opening packaging anymore. I'm like, I do it delicately because
you might have to send it back.
I'm going to have to probably send it back.
Brands that we deal with that ship through Amazon, we dumb that packaging down naturally because of that.
The Amazon side of things.
I guess you could say, so we actually have a lot of brands that do ship direct to consumer, to Amazon, to retail, and we'll have 3 different types of packaging for one product.
Oh, wow.
Because the Amazon's already sold, right? We don't need to, we're not concerned about wowing the customer. Now, there could be a scenario where they are going to take into consideration, like, we understand that it's already sold, but we want to have the experience for the customer.
Some sort of presentation available.
So there are those situations, but every scenario is different, and that's what's been so enjoyable. I guess about diving into this industry, I had a goal. I told TJ, had a goal when I got in is to get all the clamshells out of the industry, and the clamshells is what most sites come in, right?
Yep.
That way you can.
Most what come in?
Sites.
Like bow sites.
Oh, okay.
Bow sites come in a clamshell. That way.
When you say clamshell, I'm thinking like a shoebox?
Like plastic. Plastic on plastic.
Clear.
Like what trail cams come in?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're cased in plastic and shoved in a box?
Except sealed on the edge to where you
gotta...
Yeah.
Dude, I hate those things.
You got to cut that sumbitch open.
I hate those things.
But that's what most of them come in, right? And ultimately, it's so we can see the fibers, see how much light's getting through the scope housing. Whatnot,
yeah, it's a presentation.
100%. But the fucking ugliest thing, pardon my French. So
no, we do that all the time.
So clamshells fire me up.
Yeah.
There we go. Wow, boy's passionate about clamshells.
Hey, nobody's going to stand in the way.
as much as the next guy.
Listen, they will be out of the industry if Keegan's got anything to do with it.
I haven't experienced the clamshell here recently. That must be your doing, huh?
So we've had a couple.
He's making a wave.
Yeah,
we've had a couple of
opportunities to suffocate them.
Yeah, we've done all right.
What did I was going to say?
I want to get a tree stand at a clamshell.
Never.
Just case those suckers right in there.
It's hard enough to put it in a double wall corrugated box.
I was trying to think of what I would have got recently in a clamshell.
I'm thinking of like a dead ringer site. The sites you're right about that.
Sites have definitely been in those.
Maybe like a call. Calls are like case
yeah, the old grunt call in there.
A lot of the bow accessories are too when you're in the bow
stabilizers.
Shop. Yep, peep sights.
Or stabilizers for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm going to end up with Jared every time I'm cutting that thing too. Like I know I'm going to just, I'm taking a finger off.
Yeah.
One of the trickiest things, which it makes sense, but broadheads are truly hard to package.
That's what it is.
There you go.
Broadheads are
broadheads.
hard to
it's
package.
Absolutely
and most of them going, actually, so those are considered blisters.
I'll tell
typically.
you what. I'll give credit where credit's due. Have you ever opened like a sever
Very nice.
So they come in a box. Like when you order, I'm not sure the quantity that would warrant.
I don't think
the
it matters.
box.
I mean, I got 3, you know, and it came in that.
Yeah. So they ship a box, and then just a nice clean opening box, and they all come in. They're all individually packaged.
It looks like a little almost like a toothpick,
like a fishing lure type container, like a clear plastic thing, and it's got like just a head on it.
Flip it open.
We gotta have some here somewhere.
Yeah,
I'll show it to you. You'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
And then they
packaging guy would.
They slip right out. Yeah,
yeah, they're really
That's
nice.
cool.
There's, and again, I shoot them. So I'm not knocking on QAD, but QAD has a nice presentation. Okay, when it comes to their Exodus heads, but you're guaranteed to cut yourself.
Yeah,
Guaranteed. It's impossible.
That's everything. I mean, I remember shooting Rage, and like I'd open up that clamshell, and like they'd all slide down to the bottom, and I'm like just fingers, getting come out just bloody. I'm like, I got one.
Well, they figured out at some point that they were hard to open. So certain companies started like the clamshell was fine when they just put like 1 or 2 staples in the top of it. And I was like, okay, I can pop that. It was the ones that were like
sealed.
A blister pack. That's what we call it.
Blister pack.
Blister.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like them.
The thing is, on the ones that we've had the opportunity to package, they want the consumer to be able to open that pack in the bow shop, right? They want them to be able to touch the broadheads.
Yeah.
You know, I guess that's a consumer experience or something. I'm not sure, but that's
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you think about it. If you
I would think they just have one on display.
If you walk through like a retail, like let's say you're in Shields or whatever, like whether it's fishing lures or whatever, there's open shit all over the aisles.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the guy's like, well, let me check. Nope, that's not the right one.
I'm that guy. by the way, where I'm like, I wonder how this actually works. I'll open the box, but I'm not stealing it. I'll put it back together. But
Kinda.
You got to check it out. You got to
stuffing it down in there.
Make sure it is.
Tuck it in the back.
What they say it is.
Yeah.
Make sure what the box says is true.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But no, it's a lot of fun. I'm glad that over the last 3 or 4 years, it's evolved. It seems like a new one's knocking on the door. I'm knocking on their door. But
that's a good feeling.
A lot of it's thanks to TJ and just the people in our group.
It is very much the brake pads from Tommy Boy vibe.
Oh yeah,
just because you got to be so passionate about it. And he's like, I'm passionate about brake pads. Yeah. And Keegan's like, it's packaging.
Yeah. And that is, and so what the story I guess is. Yeah, I do. I shoot a vertical bow, and I love whitetails and longbeards, and so there's a direct connection. And I'm not sure there's ever been a packaging guy in the space that's cut it up with people at ATA.
You know what they should blister pack? Crossbows.
Oh shit.
Yeah, those guys would love them.
They
They'd
would
be like,
love
"This is the best packaging ever."
Like they'd be pulling it up and like.
You can hold the whole thing up. Like,
nobody gets
trying to fire you up, Keegan.
Oh, they should. They should put them in a welded box. Truly.
Yeah, that'd be it. I'd love to see someone try to open it. They'd open one crossbow in a blister pack, and they'd be like, "I'm going to a vertical bow."
They need to package them loaded, so you got to pull the trigger.
There you go. There you go.
Yep, just to blow it right open.
Yeah,
like that.
Blow the
just pull the trigger. She's good to go. She's good to go.
It's like waterproof. You just you're good to go. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Some people would not know you have to take the packaging off. They'd be like, "This is just how it works."
Entertaining.
Cross guns.
So let's talk a little bit about Indiana, because I feel like Indiana might be kind of like an overlooked state here, right?
We drive through it every time. And I look left and right. I'm like, are there good deer here? And Jeremy's like, yeah, there's some good deer here. I'm like, I don't think so.
And then we're in Illinois, and then it's like, okay, I forget.
And I'll bet they probably drive pretty close to where we live. I mean,
what's the highway?
30?
70?
No, we drive 70.
We take 70 straight through it.
So down through Indy.
But at Indy we go 465 north, then to 74.
Okay. Yeah,
so north side south of us, north side of Indy.
But I mean, it definitely. I mean, the Huff Buck got killed there.
I mean, it's between Ohio and Illinois. Like, how can it be bad, right?
I don't know.
What's it get overlooked because I've heard gun season
is rough.
Rough.
3
Real
weekends, 2 weeks, in the rut.
Right in the rut. So that's a tough one.
It's horrible.
Yeah. Is it one buck state?
Yep.
Okay.
$1. And then like up by us, we have our city limits has a take a doe, shoot a buck. So there you can get 2 there.
So is that up like towards like Gary, Indiana, like up that way more?
East of Gary, about
east
an
of
hour.
Gary.
Yeah. So just south of South Bend. I don't know. The state's not full of a bunch of those locations. I don't know how many are in the state, but Warsaw is one of those that you can shoot a doe, take a buck inside the city limits.
In addition to your state.
Right.
Wide.
Yeah, that's where you sent me that thing from the other day. It was the Warsaw area.
Was it?
That was the EHD
yeah, you guys
thing.
getting pounded
Oh,
with
Wabash.
It's smoked.
Yeah,
with
the
it.
Wabash.
That's where TJ lives.
We're getting
Oh, boy.
smoked with it right
Well,
now.
shit, TJ.
Yeah, exactly. So just keep driving through, guys.
Yeah, we'll keep going this year.
Yeah. There's
I've
nothing.
not-
There is no deer there now.
Yeah, there were deer there.
There were.
Yeah,
No, we got huge potential. It's just rarely do the bucks see their full potential. Yeah. Rarely.
Yeah.
Like I'd love to hunt 5 and 6 year olds like you guys do and others out in west.
Us?
Yeah, you.
Oh, yeah.
You.
Yeah, okay.
You. I'm looking at you. No, but
We're talking 4.5, and we're having a conversation with your buddy. Like, okay, we should probably take him because Johnny's gonna.
That's everywhere, dude. That's everywhere we hunt.
We want to kill a 5 or 6 year old for sure.
Yeah.
It's just are they there or not? I don't know.
They're so few and far between. Rarely are you hunting one in a year. Yeah. You're thankful for a couple 4-year-olds to chase that one's over there and one's over here. And 20
And do you
people
think
are hunting
that's
them.
most of the state, or because I know as you go towards southern Indiana, you get more forested areas. There's some bigger public down there, probably less agriculture.
South of Hoosier, I think it gets.
Yeah, Hoosier National or whatever down there.
You're starting to get some big whitetails down there.
Yeah. And it's
right over the Kentucky border.
It's sometimes deceptive because they'll travel that and there's still enough guys stacked up. They'll get slaughtered. So we've had a lot of luck just hunting in the overlooked areas, fence rows, growing up thickets, where the big boys are hiding out because they don't like any pressure.
Yeah. So from Tipton, north of Indy is Tipton. So from there north, we're like seed corn capital of the world, right? So
it's like Pancake Flat.
Yeah.
And irrigations and they've taken out all the fence rows. They're very few, I should
So
say.
very fragmented landscape.
Yeah. But better than, the farther you get north than that, it gets even worse. You know? So I'm not going to complain for what we have.
We got deer to hunt.
Yeah, we got enough rivers that,
Yeah, there's some riparian and wooded areas.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
100%. Yeah, and again, I don't, we had a gentleman that I get the opportunity to share the block of woods with. He's about 3 miles east of us, and he was the cover of North American a year and a half ago.
North American Whitetail. Cody's dad founded that magazine. How about that?
So who was that? Cody. We'll talk later.
So, clearly a big deer.
Yeah, and he's killed a lot of big deer. He like a 202.
Yep, that'll do.
Probably 3 years
In
ago.
that woodblock you're hunting? Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So we're coming to Indy then.
So we're circling around it.
EHD. No, that's all you do.
All right, buddy. The HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Hoyt.
What can we say, man? Another year back with Hoyt. We're both shooting RX8s. I'm shooting 70 pounds in the bourbon, which I love bourbon.
That's great.
And you're shooting 80 pounds in the straight black.
Blacked out as always, man. I got so I'm shooting the 500 grain Easton Arrow this year. And at 80 pounds, I'm flinging that thing at like 300 feet per second. It's deadly. Put a water buffalo in front of me and he's done.
We shot it earlier. You literally put an arrow through a brand new target, like never been shot before.
I know. So one other thing that Hoyt is doing this year is they're making all their own strings in-house. And so the quality is top notch, and it just really is something that is setting them apart from their competitors.
Well, what we always try to do when we go to our bow shop, Ultimate Outdoors, is we try to shoot other bows just to make sure that we are really giving everybody a fair chance.
Sure.
The reality is it's a no-brainer. Hoyt stands above all of them every single time.
Definitely. And so right now you can use code HUNTR, HUNTR, for 20% off any apparel on the Hoyt website. And as always,
get serious, get Hoyt.
So no, it's definitely not bad. Again, trying to get 1 to 4.5 is the.
So what? And from a pressure standpoint, and obviously not picking on crossbows, but is it gun season where they really are getting walloped, or is bow season been brutal too?
No, I don't think there are a lot of cross gun hunters. Listen,
that's fine.
Gun
That's fine.
season is
Carry
where
on.
they get
slaughtered. Gun season though is the absolute.
Yeah, they just mow them
down.
Mow them.
You said 3 weekends.
3 weekends.
Starting second Saturday.
Yes, it's like the 12th or 13th, 14th.
Oh.
So
What's the
it's horrible.
What's the tactic? Is there much driving? Is it just a lot of guys sitting in corners?
There's not enough wood blocks to do much driving, so it's more just
sitting and watching open fields,
shooting across open fields.
Yep,
basically.
Fence rows. There's some wood blocks. It just depends, but.
It doesn't sound like there's a lot of habitat where you're at, the way you guys are describing it.
It's pretty minimal.
Which I would assume then just, kind of blows up the situation around pressure because you're jamming 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag, basically.
100%. Well, yeah, I mean, if you can get yourself, a 50-acre block of solid timber, you're on the right track.
Wow.
That's. Do
you guys have CRP up there?
Minimal. Most everything, if it can be farmed, it's farmed.
Yeah, because the ground's so good.
Yeah. I'm very fortunate to have it's only 11 acres.
Yeah.
And then there's timber off of it.
But that's 11's in CRP.
And that's an insane amount of CRP by us.
Wow.
Yeah. Is it competitive with the farming rates in terms of what they'll pay you to have it there?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we have a buddy, Dwayne. He's right up there.
Our Dwayne?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dwayne that we know.
Shed season Dwayne.
Yeah, Dwayne.
Shed season Dwayne.
So he has a decent amount in CRP, and it actually, I think, it did a little bit better than what
it's just probably the business practice of the farming and ag, and also people just don't want to put things in government programs.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, most farmers, my family owns farm ground. The going rate for that seed corn, you're at least $350.
Wow.
Whoa.
What is rivaling our Western Illinois
seed corn?
Seed corn is the seed to the corn.
Okay.
So producing the
next
seed.
year. Yeah.
For next
It'll be
year.
the corn next
So how does that work?
So there's
I've always wondered this. Where does corn seed come from?
Yeah, so there's male and there's female rows, and so they plant them.
Did you know this? You know about this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not a, what do they call us, like
Agronomist.
I'm not even close. Just again,
You're
it's
not
where
a
I live.
pachologist.
You don't have any kind of YouTube channel called like Corn Hub or something?
No.
Okay.
No. Wish I did.
Yeah, it's 2 Bs, I think.
Yeah. But anyways, so yeah, there's male and female rows, and they pollinate each other, and then they knock down that male.
So this
row.
is where
hold on. I'm
Pioneer.
Yeah, Pioneer, DeKalb, I'm on.
Yep. Those are your big corn seed producers.
Yeah.
From a farming ag industry.
So you got male row, female row. They pollinate each other.
They've got typically a male row, and then they got a male row, and then 4 or 5 female rows.
Yeah, all right. So you got some studs and then some rows.
Because you're collecting the seed from the female row.
Correct.
Then
they just knock the male rows down.
So
after
how
that
is the
pollination process?
corn different?
It's not.
Okay, so they open an ear of corn.
Yeah, so they harvest it on the ear. Okay, so it doesn't look like your typical harvester, I guess you would say,
From a combine standpoint?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Similar. It's got the same head, but outside of that, they harvest it on the ear.
Okay.
And then they take it to a Pioneer or a
DeKalb or whatever.
who at Monsanto, whatever, and they take it off that ear, and then they will typically
Sell it to popcorn companies.
Yeah, but
it dries, right?
It dries, but they process it. Typically, put like a coating on it of some nature.
Yep, for germination.
Yep.
Interesting. I guess it is. Yeah, when I see like a seed,
because you're not
corn
buying,
seed, it does look like, but not exactly the same as like a
I was gonna say
kernel.
You just bought 10,000 pounds of corn for whatever, $7.50 100 pounds, $7.50 for
$1,400. Yeah.
Yeah.
$7 a bag. Mm-hmm.
Versus think about what it cost you for one Roundup Ready bag of corn.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like $180.
Right.
Or even one non-Roundup Ready
Right.
bag of seed corn costs you like $100.
Right.
So clearly different.
Okay. So am I
So
putting
this
out
is where we
male
live.
kernels or
Yeah. No, female.
okay?
When you're
Does
talking
male
about
corn produce kernels?
It does, but
Okay.
they knock it down. I don't know,
But
why.
not in a harvesting standpoint. They'll harvest male and female kernels, correct?
No. They. I don't-
from like a field corn standpoint?
yes.
Yeah, I would assume
yes.
so.
They
Yeah.
don't know who's who.
Yeah, they didn't look
Correct.
up the skirt.
Correct.
Can you tell?
Still got tassels.
I don't know.
Can you tell? But can you look at
Can you milk it?
cob and tell?
Well, I think podcast 202 is going to have an agronomist on it.
Yeah, I don't know how that
You
works.
should bring someone on.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that they know somehow that it's.
I'm not sure.
I have thought many a night laying in bed, where does corn seed come from?
So here, you're probably not familiar with this either, but like, so persimmon trees, right? Familiar with persimmon and
Vaguely.
persimmon fruit?
Yeah.
Okay. So females have fruit. Males do not have fruit on them,
Okay.
right? So like if you see a persimmon tree and you're like, oh, there's no fruit on it, could be a male.
Could be.
And that's why. But
Same with apple trees?
I don't know about apple trees. Maybe.
Okay.
And some apple tree, like some fruit trees are self-pollinating. Some, half the apple trees are self-pollinating. The other half of the apple trees, you have to have 2 of those apple trees.
Yeah.
Nick's not here, so he identifies as self-pollinating. So.
Yeah, I agree. That's why he has the mustache.
Yeah.
So-
he's a self-pollinator.
So when it comes to the seed corn, one of the problems is typically, I mean, they'll start harvesting in 30 days from now or less.
Really?
Okay.
So
what's that grow? It's like a 90-day corn, or
it's probably a little bit more than that.
okay,
But
it's off early,
yeah. So middle of September, you got a great chance of not having any crops around you.
and instead having hundreds of acres of cut cornfield,
Literally,
and like they're not having any waste on the ground.
zero.
Yeah.
Zero. And they'll come through and they're gonna chisel it as soon as they pick it.
So
Yeah.
question for the group, is that where popcorn comes from?
No.
It's not. I thought for sure it was going to be
from
a
the
yes.
movie theater.
Where does popcorn
Do you
seed
like
come?
okay,
Yeah, who doesn't like popcorn?
Same concept.
Okay.
Same concept.
So, but just different field.
But yeah, so
They're designated
popcorn
for.
is grown in the same way. And you typically cannot little side note, the only reason I know is because we package
I was
popcorn.
going to say, I love that you know this. You package
Yeah, I
popcorn.
mean,
You package
Keegan is
popcorn.
like, he's damn near an agronomist at this point.
Let me ask you this, because I've heard this. Is there like chemical in the? I've heard that popcorn's
No, all
bad for you because
all popcorn's non-GMO.
no. In the lining of the packaging.
Oh, so they've recently, the government's come down, and so you'll start to see the microwave bags they've changed color.
Because there was poison in them.
So they've really
right.
cracked down. We're talking within the last 6 to 12 months.
Wow. I had heard about. You've heard about this.
Yeah.
I don't eat much popcorn, so I don't know.
I eat my fair share.
But
I
so
lose a lot through this side.
the microwave bag, like
Yeah.
there's like that waxy,
I don't know how else to make it.
waxy
It's
coating inside.
it's like an all natural bag now.
Mm-hmm.
They just recently.
Well, I mean, they're talking about whatever, all the microplastics in this gonna end up in your heart.
Exactly. I know. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. So.
Yeah, so we package a decent amount of. We have a popcorn customer. Obviously, popcorn's big in Indiana.
Cool. And you guys are all natural packaging now.
Evolving.
Getting her.
Not
Getting her.
not quite.
Evolving.
We're working on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Does that satisfy your corn
Yeah.
questions?
Well, that's interesting. I've wondered about popcorn seed and popcorn.
At the
and
heart of your stopping baiting, you're looking at the source to figure out
I'm
how
going
to
straight to the seed.
cut its throat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Jared's just out there gliding.
We're
the
gonna
shit out
abort
of
this
it.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to whitetails though. I mean, that's cross guns.
Uh-huh.
That is the problem when you get up by us. The crops.
That's
are out.
crazy.
Crops are
That's
gone.
why gun season is a slaughter fest, because all the fields come down, which was the cover. That's why bow season can be amazing.
That's everywhere though.
Well,
And
I mean,
guns.
not
not
that
when you have
early.
habitat. When you don't
Yeah.
have additional
Sure.
habitat,
Yeah,
where do
you're
they go?
screwed.
Yeah.
So you're going to jam all those deer in a 50-acre block.
Exactly.
Yep. Or they're trying to
Fence
hide in a
rows.
waterway or
Yeah.
fence row or a ditch.
Are they double cropping those fields?
Some.
Yeah,
Some
like a
they'll-
winter wheat or something.
Yep.
Yep.
They'll go wheat to beans.
Yep.
And we have a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of double crop. I mean,
Because if they're putting it in September or late October, or early October, you probably have some winter wheat coming up for gun season.
about 4
Yeah.
inches, 3-4
Yeah.
inches
Yeah.
typically.
Yeah, before snow if we get it. But yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I mean that loss of cover from a corn standpoint is huge.
It's-
When you're lacking the habitat side of things.
And it's almost always all gone at that time of the year. I mean, unless we get snow early or something that keeps them out of the fields or weird rain, but otherwise it's almost always out, all of it.
Kind of coincides with that big fall shift as well.
I assume you guys see a lot of deer bedding in the corn then.
All the time, especially during the rut. They're always in the middle of the field, and which they used to be untouchable with muzzleloader and shotguns. Now
with
guys
rifles.
are just laying in a ditch and
So there's no regulations on guns anymore.
Yeah, I mean you can't
minimal.
shoot
You can, but there's 06 and 30-30s and 243s and 6.5s, and I mean,
what the hell's the regulation then?
Exactly,
hardly any.
Exactly. So you're gonna
what was your
you
question?
or someone
What the regulation? Like in some cases, like straight wall cartridge, then obviously I can't shoot a 06 or 243 or something. But if
anything, all legal.
I think the only one that you can't shoot is a.
Keys like a 243 or is that
You
too
can
low?
use a 243.
Yep.
What's below that?
22.
220
Frowned upon.
223.
223.
223.
You cannot use a 223.
Oh,
What's 243? Oh yeah, because 223 and 5.56 are interchangeable.
Correct.
Generally, yeah.
You
so
can't
use the lower end.
223.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a fair cutoff point.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
That's in most states. That's a cutoff point.
I think that was probably like 20. Maybe like 2015, 2016.
that they put all the
Ish.
rifle stuff in place.
Ish, where they just allowed
Dumped
everything.
it all out.
Wow.
So that is the muzzle loader has almost become obsolete from that perspective.
So what
for us.
does that look from a season structure? So you got that big gun season. Is there a late season or anything?
There's
too?
a late muzzle loader.
There
but
is.
There's a week break after gun, then muzzleloader hits for 2 weeks, and then it's
Only a
late
week
bow.
break.
week break.
Only a week. Well, the 5 days in between the weekend break.
Yeah.
Then muzzleloader
Jeez.
so more getting hammered, especially if you got a winter that's turned on and on. You
Yeah.
got a wheat field that started growing.
They're just pounding it.
So it's rough.
So on the flip side, though, it sounds like
Makes
if
it a
you-
challenge though. If you get one, you definitely feel like
Yeah.
you did something.
If you locate like your guy, if he locates a 202, like he's living in this block, pretty much.
100%.
yeah,
100%.
So
But-
I mean,
he's smart.
Yeah.
Did you know that deer was there?
So here's a great part to this story. He didn't know he was located in that block. The gentleman to the east of him, supposedly that deer never crossed what they call 175, and that might have been the only time that deer's ever crossed 175 and got killed that night
wow.
by a 6.5.
Do you think? Yeah, that makes sense. Do you think that those deer, because of the fragmentation, are moving large distances? During that late October, November time period, or because it's limited habitat, they're just hanging tight?
Depends on the girls.
I think so.
Yeah.
Depends on the girls. Yeah.
So if they have them, they're not moving.
Right. They're staying there and they're breeding all of them, and
But
they
if-
don't need to move.
Yeah, because that's what I'm thinking. Is like if you've got that many deer packed into a tight habitat place, like he kind of just rolls over if he's the dominant buck and there's another one.
Yep.
Like where also the doe's going to be. Like they're going to be in the same block that he's in.
Yep.
Huh.
So I mean, like for us, for me personally, and my buddy Cody that I do most of my hunting with, if it's not done before that gun season, or if we are done before that gun season, we're gonna dump the corn to them at that point. Just roll it all out.
What do you mean?
Like last year, Cody killed his deer the day before shotgun season come in that morning. So that next day, I think we might have fed like 5,000 pounds.
So you can feed during the season.
We were hunting, so we fed.
Oh,
Interesting.
okay. So you can feed, but you can't bait.
Yeah.
There's your distinction.
Like
So we fed
Iowa.
hard.
Yeah, I would too. That's why I bought 10,000 pounds the other day. I call it defensive baiting, but feeding, basically. Yeah, not to say we wouldn't shoot one off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to say I wouldn't take
They
the
say-
offense if there
they
was
say-
situation was right.
Yeah, hey, the best offense is a good defense. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we did.
Interesting.
And I tell you what, it certainly paid off.
I'm sure, dude. I mean, if you
It does, dude.
It pays off.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
Wow.
To the point where, like, so we bought a grain wagon, hooked, like the first day we went and filled it and opened the hopper door up a little bit and just drove circles in a field.
Wow.
Nice.
And just pulled them all, sucked them in.
Strategery.
Yep.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, because we talk about that, and obviously, like if it's legal, do it, right?
Listen
Good.
to this. You'll like this. The guy that I bought my corn off of, I don't want to, and I shouldn't have asked. I apologize after asking because it's the equivalent of asking how much do you make a year. I said, how many bags of corn do you sell a year? I was curious.
Sure.
So I bought 200 bags of them from him. That's 10,000 pounds. He sold 20,000 bags last year.
Whoa. At about
Wow.
what, $7 a piece?
It's not a lot of profit when you work.
$140,000.
Yeah, but if he's making $1 or $2 a bag, probably
Unless
Yeah,
is
it's a
he
lot
the
of work.
farmer?
in a small portion of it.
Yeah.
I think he sources
Because
it.
if he was the farmer, it'd probably be more like 50%.
He farms, so like on some he's probably making better margin.
but even still, like it's only
20,000 bags.
Does this guy need bags?
Huh?
Yeah, does he need bags?
Yeah.
He's only
What's
got
his
an
packaging
MOQ
look
of
like?
I'll ask him.
yeah.
Your
Well, Brandon.
presentation
He's been
stock.
wearing the
Yeah.
same pair of overalls since I've known him.
You want to
so.
sell 30,000 bags? Let me show you
Yeah,
something.
exactly. Check this
Start
out.
shipping these things?
Yeah.
Yeah. All organic.
I mean that's a huge. So we've had this conversation with a lot of the Iowa guys, right? Because most of the Iowa guys would say they're pretty quick to say, yeah, baiting's shit. Like we would never want to do that. In the same token, it's like they're feeding on the same property they're hunting.
Oh, yeah.
They're not hunting over it.
200 feet, I think, is what Indiana is. 200 feet?
It's something like
it's
that.
so great.
Something small.
So great.
Yeah.
I think it's to the point where it's if you have a good conscience.
Yeah.
Like,
Basically, as long as you're not really hunting over it, you can do it. So, take one side of that coin and look at it and say, well, like you're still manipulating deer movement, even though you're not hunting over it. Like deer are clearly coming to your property because of that feed. On the other side, it's legal. So, as long as you're not hunting over it, then it's not baiting.
I didn't mean for this to happen. We clearly beat this to death. This crossbows and corn piles.
Well, but
Oh,
it just,
it's-
I
I didn't know Indiana was one of them though. Basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's just this, understanding, because in that area where you have limited habitat, like, and most of it is ag country, so I assume you guys aren't doing a ton of food plots because ground is such a premium.
yes and no. I mean, we do a decent amount.
Yeah,
We do a decent
where you
amount.
can.
Where you can. I mean, I would say majority of people are putting in quarter-acre food plots. If you got the opportunity to put in a 3-acre food plot, you're lucky.
Yeah.
Very lucky.
Yeah,
For me, over the years, it's been, if I'm doing that, it's more just for the does,
Mm-hmm.
truly, because those big bucks, they'll choose, hiding out, no pressure over anything, over
Yeah.
water and food. So I've had more luck just doing absolutely nothing, least amount of pressure, and then getting it, going in. And
well, I
getting it
feel
done.
like some of those quarter-acre plots, knowing how those deer congregate, probably just mow them.
Get destroyed.
They do.
Yeah.
If you have any deer concentration, they get mowed. So, but
Wheat fields, if they didn't double crop that wheat field, which we've had a decent amount of wheat come in the last couple of years, we've had the opportunity to put seed in some of those wheat fields, which is awesome for shed season. So we'll go out and put, brassicas, turnips and radishes, and
Just create a giant feed plot.
6-8 acres of turnips and radishes, and that's
Hard to beat that. Yeah.
it creates some sheds.
yeah,
So.
That's how
Do you
Dwayne's
have any-
finding all his.
that's
plan-
right. Does and sheds. That's
Getting
what it's
planted
for
right now.
We did not get a wheat field this year. No, next year we
So
will.
it's just on the crop rotation.
So what
after.
did you just plant? You just planted though.
Yeah,
acres.
we just drilled. My buddy Cody last night drilled 3 different food plots.
Just got a drill. Fancy.
Yep.
Got a drill, yeah.
High end.
So
What kind of drill you got?
it's not mine, but it's a woods
Oh, yeah.
drill. I don't really
Yeah.
know any details about it.
I've not seen those.
It's
know
it's
it-
actually a Cabela's branded drill.
Oh yeah,
It's made.
whoa.
I probably sold
Oh.
it. Back in the
Jeremy
day.
used to work for Cabela's, the land implement
It's to
division.
sell the woods. It's much like your Ferminator
Okay.
from a seed side, like a cedar side.
Okay. That's not a drill, though.
Yeah, not like a true drill
Okay.
aspect of it, but it's set up. Yeah, it's set up like your cedar.
It'll turn the ground over on the front side and then
Drop seed and then call it a
Oh.
packet.
yeah.
Oh,
So maybe I
Yeah.
shouldn't consider it a drill.
not technically, but I'm with you.
It's a cedar.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cedar. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. All right.
But yeah, I mean that's so. Those are going to get hammered probably.
Yeah, so we're gonna try a couple of new tactics this year. Outside of that, gonna try to blow seed into corn
Oh, interesting.
and see
What do you mean
happens.
blow it in?
So with
Like
they've got like a backpack blower.
Yeah, like
Okay,
the
so-
leaf blower modification type thing.
Yeah, and to put seed into it, and so they say is that first leaf turns yellow.
It'll get enough
Blow it in.
sunlight and enough moisture into
blow
there.
it in.
But the seed bed isn't covered yet with all the
Yeah, with all the
Husk.
corn
yep,
stuff. Yeah.
all that stuff.
So
How do you
we're gonna-
think the combine will affect? I mean, it would run over some of it,
It's gonna
but
run over some, but I think you put in, if you can blow in our situation, we're gonna blow it in, right? 2, 3, 4 acres along the edge. I think if
yeah,
it works, it works.
That'd be
I've not
substantial.
seen that done outside of I've seen.
You've seen those modified leaf blower pieces, right?
Like for lawn seed, I've seen it.
So
I've seen it with food plots.
Yeah, a
too.
lot of guys
Yeah.
use food plots.
So the
beans
tank
is the
thing.
most common.
Yeah, so we'll
leaf
do it
fall
with,
beans.
Yeah, so we drilled 3 acres of beans at the one farm, and we'll do this. We did it last year with beans. We'll do the same thing.
That's
this
a lot
year
of
with
beans.
So again, that's where the thought came in on corn.
Yeah, I like that.
As soon as that leaf turns yellow, go ahead and we'll blow it in, and
It's not a
see
ton
what
different.
happens.
Like, well, I've got some areas where I've got beans that either deer hammer in and or they're just thin because I miss some areas. Like I'll just go in and broadcast brassicas into them.
Yeah.
You know, and then they'll be fine. They'll grow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the corn aspect of it. A lot of guys are doing that. They're planting wider rows, so they're doing like 30-inch rows, and then they're doing brassicas in those 30-inch rows.
Yeah.
So
Old school.
that's been a different strategy on that side. I've seen a lot recently too.
I planted corn for the first time this year, and I got antsy. I think it was the right move timing wise, but I broadcast it. So I don't own a drill, and I don't own a corn planter. So we disked it with a Ferminator, just like a single row disc. Did a heavy disc, steep angle, and then broadcast the seed with a earthway bag seeder, and then did a lighter disc over top of it and called it back at the same time. That's what the Ferminator is. It came up. I mean, and we've got ears and stuff. It's just it's thin.
Did it get the stalk is?
No, the seed rate.
Okay.
The seed rate. And because everything I've heard is guys are like, don't go too heavy on the corn. And I'm like, okay. So, I mean, I used the exact rate, and I felt like I got a really good, what would you call it? Distribution of seed. And it is getting pounded though. So that's the other thing. Like if every one of them had corn on it, then I would be like, it's satisfactory.
Right.
But I walked it the other day, and it's getting pounded by raccoons, I assume, and by deer and stuff too. So we'll see. I think before next year, I'll probably buy a corn seeder. I think that's probably the way to do it.
I've failed so many times at the corn overseeding, and then the stalk comes too thin, and it's a complete failure. I feel like maybe it's been successful one time. That was a hot wire fence.
Yep. How's that working out for you, Jeremy? Yeah.
No,
Jeremy's like, I'll put this single row fence up, and no.
it worked for the first 4 weeks. And I went, and it was like, we've been really dry.
In the hot row fences, the fence, you kind of skimped on that.
Oh,
a
absolutely.
single row is not going to do anything.
Well, dude, I needed to.
You
I
gotta
would have had
double.
to. I would have buy like fucking 2,000 feet of that shit. That's a pain in the ass.
Well, you bought one, so you got
Yeah.
Got to
well,
double wrap it.
So, anyways, yeah, that's what she
yeah,
said.
always double bagger.
And so, yeah, it was fine for the first 4 weeks. It was 12 to 18-inch beans. They weren't great. You could tell a little bit of deer had definitely got in and browsed, but I mean, they looked pretty good. Sprayed gly, fertilizer, and I went back, Tuesday, and deer just basically got tangled in the fence, mowed it down, and then the doors were open, and they just smoked it.
Yep.
So yeah, I just went in and broadcast brassica and all of it. So expected.
did? Nice. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It sucks. Well, I mean, here it goes back, and I mean, everybody's got different opinions on it. It's kind of like the too many deer. Like most people say, well, if you want to increase your deer herd, Sturgis especially, plant beans. All right, plant summer food that's going to bring in deer, and sure, it's going to help later in the season when the pods are produced and, it gets colder. But at least from a summer
Which applies
standpoint,
more to a northern setting, like less ag predominant.
yeah, more like big woods, pasture
The more
ground.
beans you have surrounding, the less
Yeah,
it's
doesn't
going to make a difference.
Just like in Illinois, like we have multiple 1 acre bean fields. They look unbelievable.
Yeah, they're just not even really touching our bean
because they're
fields. There's plenty
surrounded
of bean
by
fields.
4,000 acres of beans, right? Well, there's nothing. It's woods around my Ohio place.
And they're
so,
getting crushed.
yeah. Fortunately, my Kentucky place looks great. Like it's pasture ground. There are no beans around me. There's big woods around me, but the deer population's so low they can't smoke them essentially. So like that's going to turn out good. But yeah, moving forward, it'll either be fall plots or maybe I try corn. But even that is going to get mauled. So there's just too many deer in there. We were talking about the deer smell.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing ever. So I don't know, like maybe because you guys have very concentrated herds of deer in some of these blocks and stuff. So obviously we hunt a shitload of properties, right? And I've been on a ton.
Obviously.
Every food plot that I have in Ohio, like reeks of deer, like livestock. It smells like you walked into like a livestock facility. And I've never experienced that ever in my life.
Have you ever smelled? I've never smelled it either.
Like, you know,
We don't
like,
have enough deer for that. I don't.
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's like you have to look around. Like you think they're just like bedded around you.
Was Alex with you by chance?
He
Filming?
was.
He's like, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, he was the first time. Yeah. So, but not this last time. But it's pretty wild. And the only time I've ever had that like smell before was when I was elk hunting in Kentucky, and like you would get close to them and you'd smell elk.
Yeah, people say that a lot. You're like, yeah, smell. You know, they're real because
Like
they're pissing all over
musty
themselves
and stuff.
Yeah, I don't even know what the smell would be on just a whitetail.
Did you know it as soon as you smell it? Like it smells like if you approach like a rutting buck, basically.
Mm-hmm. It's like a tarsal glandish smell.
It's really, I mean, all of that tells me is I must have a shitload of deer on that property.
Somebody will comment, hopefully, and say like, "Oh,
and I mean, it would make sense.
That.
Like one, we're in a drought there, but literally every food plot I have is mowed. It's gone. Doesn't exist.
Well, you probably have a pile of deer there.
I think
you should throw the drone up over that one.
You can't. Well, I have to wait till leaves come off.
Okay.
But you can't tell because it's so wooded. Like even when my cameras are running, I'm like, okay, there's some does, like you don't know. But I mean, I've got a lot of different bucks on that property, camera wise. So I assume there's twice as many does at least.
Probably.
So yeah, it's very strange. It'll be interesting to see what happens, you know, in the season if those plots are able to actually grow.
Yeah. Well, you got to with food plots. You always got to have a plan like A, B, and C.
100%.
And it's like, I mean, maybe a D too, but like grain is always great. I mean, depending on where you're going, but then you got to have like the fall blends are like your brassicas, and then the fail safe is
cereal
grain or clover. You can plant a late clover.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you got to believe that if all three of those fail, like
you're in deep shit.
Something else is wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you got to kill more deer, or
it's a drought. You can't do anything.
It's a complete drought.
Yeah.
I mean, one of those will have caught some rain. You got to believe, right? You know.
Well, one strategy, I don't know if you guys have done this, Keegan, you may have too, but just work with your farmer. Maybe they can leave an acre or a couple acres.
It's more expensive than you think, though.
It's more, but when you start line iteming everything for your cost and the time, which none of us have more of.
Yeah.
Weigh pros and cons.
What do we
if
figure?
Okay with it.
You're looking at like $1,200 an acre for corn, is what you would expect
in Western Illinois at least.
Yeah,
for them to leave it
anywhere. Well, yeah,
I mean, it's cheaper.
I say $800 to $1,200.
Yeah, it's $1,200 in Western Illinois for sure, in our area at least.
But to rent a drill
beans are cheaper.
Nitrogen and
The drills are cheap to rent though. Do you guys have like a county drill? You ever checked in on that?
I haven't.
USDA
does have one for rent.
USDA has
That's what I plant our beans with.
Yeah.
It's great. They have like a $35,000 Great Plains drill that my dad doesn't know how to put the settings on.
It's all right.
So I have 150 pounds an acre of beans right now. They actually look fantastic.
They do look.
They look really good.
He knew what he was doing then.
Well, but I'm without. It's a 7-acre field, and like
There's
5.5 acres of it is planted. In the middle, it just has mare's tail.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's kind of why I kind of got into that. I figured that's kind of what your area looked like. You know, there's a lot of people listening to this that just they don't experience that like extreme fragmentation. Like our Illinois area is very much like that when the crops come down. Like, and that's one of the reasons. I'm thinking
where they're at. I'm thinking more like where we were at. Like that. Remember that block we went to look at? That
Southern Illinois
that 80
block?
or whatever. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Their place is like.
Yeah, pancake flat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like nothing forever, and then an 80 block.
Yeah,
of timber.
Like square.
Yeah.
Square block.
Exactly.
And flat.
And flat. And fence rows are less and less because
and some creek drainages.
Some, very few, because they'll normally tile.
They tile it over,
so they can farm more. So,
we don't have many drain. Like where I live, there are no, I guess built drainages. If that
ditches.
Dude, I bet that 11-acre CRP field is
that's the ticket out there. If you can give them cover,
loaded with deer.
Yep.
And it might not be in CRP anymore, so we actually laid a 3-acre food plot right in the middle of it.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. Jeremy and I planted 17 new acres of switch this year in Illinois amongst a 50-some acre CRP lease is what we have out there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
He converted all but like 8 acres into CRP before we bought it, and we
mowed it the year we bought it.
Yeah, which sucked. But then we did change about what,
Sorry,
3
buddy.
acres of
It
hayfield.
sucked. I still killed 2.
Yeah,
Got-
3
got my
acres
limit.
of hayfield into hopefully corn. They got it in late. So we added, a little bit
It's
more.
looking
onto
good.
It, but
It's looking good.
those fragmented. See, that's where like you're really comfortable in those fragmented landscapes.
I
as
love
I
it.
assume you guys are.
Yeah.
Like it's so foreign to me. Like I'm.
You're getting there.
Yeah,
You're
but
getting
like my other properties, like I'm next to 30,000 acres of timber. So it's like. I'm either in pasture country. Most of them are in pasture country, right? That's what they all traditionally were, pasture farms that I've converted. So it's a 90% timber with 10% open ground.
I think of it like, fishing small stream, like fly fishing a small trout stream versus like bass fishing. Like in terms of like small,
Like targeted.
what we're talking about, like the segmented blocks of like little timber amongst ag country is like, it's very delicate. Like you gotta slip in, like chances are they can see you coming from a long way off. You gotta really be strategic with your access and stuff like that. Whereas big woods, it's like not like the deer are any dumber or anything like that. It's just there's a lot more of it. They're just like, okay, I gotta go in there, and then now you have to find the structure amongst everything. The HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Lone Wolf Custom Gear.
Man, Jared, we are tree stand fanatics, and I think the one thing that we have learned over all these years is to kill big bucks, we got to be mobile. We've been hunting out of lone wolves for many years, the original lone wolf, and then obviously with the custom gear stuff, we're using the 0.5 and the 0.75. Yeah. And the one thing that we talked about is like, what if there were no cables? Here we are.
I really just don't know how you can beat it, frankly. But, a lot of that came, too, from a relationship that we've built with the DeQuistos. We've had both Cody and Andre on the podcast a few times. The passion for hunting, the outlook on the sport and stuff, I think is eye to eye with how we look at it. Everything that has gone into building this brand and to building these tree stands is something that we want to be a part of.
This is the 40th anniversary of these guys creating tree stands that have been critical to how we hunt whitetail deer today. If you look over the past, you'll see Andre's designs being implemented across so many stands over the years. Such a cool thing, but really has changed the way that we all hunt whitetail deer from above now.
Right now, you can use code HUNTR, HUNTR, to get 7% off anything on the entire website. Be the lone wolf.
TJ hunted a deer 2 seasons ago.
The same 10?
Yeah, 2 seasons ago that he only hunted from a
TJ hunts?
When he
So
can.
from time to time, when I
Okay.
can.
He hunted this.
That deer I hunted a lot. It
You
just
hunted-
worked out.
yeah.
It was 2 daughters in then.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from that deer. I was stubborn, only took a bow. I could have killed him with a gun. I don't know how many times, but
Big deer.
I saw him. Yeah, I hunted him as a 4-year-old, and I couldn't get access to the property. And I could see him, and he was right there, and I finally did. So I went in, and I think it was finally got a switch. It was a east or northeast wind, so I could get in there, got permission. I was going to do a hanging hunt. It was pretty noisy, and I got 1 stick or 2 sticks up, and I kind of had an idea where he was hanging out, and I looked over, and he's right there. 35 yards, I could see his rack. He was probably 150-10 at that point. And
Looking at you, or?
his rack was looking at me, but I could see just his rack. His eyes, he couldn't see me. So, you process quick. What am I going to do? Okay, wind's good. Okay, does he know I'm here? Does he not? He's looking. So I hung out, hanging off the tree, junk on my back, and he kicked his antlers. So I was like, okay, I'm good. Got down, dumped everything, grabbed my bow, and I'm looking around. I've never been in this terrain. And it is like somebody went in there and ripped stumps up and then walked away for about 3 years, and it's just grown up and gnarly and ups and downs. So I
like little foxholes.
Yes, exactly. So he was down in one. I didn't know it. So I used the wind, and I snuck up to him best I could, boots off, everything, and I got about 35 yards, I think, is 30, 35, and I could see his rack, and I can remember just peeking behind me to see if there's anything. Nothing. I turned back around, no rack, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe he was standing up, he bedded down. And minutes go by, and I'm processing, okay, what happened? I would have seen him if he moved, right? Okay, no. And I just happened to look over my shoulder. He's 25 yards cutting away from me, quartering away, and there's nothing I could do, and I didn't know the terrain. I came to full draw, and I grew up shooting my bow every day and shooting little birds and critters. I'm like, I'm going to mow through that grass and smoke him. I shot, and I don't know if I hit something thicker, and I kicked. I didn't know it, but I heard the smack, ended up shooting him through the neck. He ran off. I thought I smoked him because it was perfect. It sounded great. I knew I just smoked him. Ran off, looked over the shoulder at 100 yards, flicked his tail, and then kind of trotted off. I'm like, oh, son of a gun. But I thought I smoked him, but that
Yeah.
reaction, you guys all know, is not good.
Not good.
Ended up tracking him. He lived. Didn't see
He
him.
lived.
Threw up more
So I
cameras.
assume you were high, like in the muscle.
I was.
You're shooting
just
that
Because
missed.
low would have been jugular.
Just missed the goods. So
You're shooting that Exodus broadhead, weren't you?
it was a fixed blade. That was a slick trick, I believe, at the time, which I've had great luck for a decade with. Shot a lot of deer with them, but I just hit something substantial enough to throw the arrow off. So could have been awesome, but went way wrong, and I beat myself up for it. Hunted him later that year, didn't get on him. 5-year-old, I hunted him, and I saw him, hunted him 32 times,
Jeez.
same block of woods, and never spooked him, but he never did the same thing twice. So, east wind, I did this, he did that, north wind. So you're
And he's
piecing
just
together
living in his block.
Yep. I saw him 16 out of 32 sits.
That's crazy.
Yep. And then,
You know, cross gun.
yeah, he just beat me straight up, but I learned a lot, and it was awesome to get that
Dang.
close. I just never sealed the deal because he was just out of range, or he stood up and did something different. Oftentimes I'd sneak in. He was bedded at 40 yards. I didn't know it. He didn't know it. He'd stand up and walk straight away. And just,
I mean, that's incredible, man.
That's a testament to how comfortable these deer get in some of those pockets.
Yeah.
And they just hang out, and you can completely miss them. Like if I was hunting 100 yards on the
I
fence
never
row,
saw him.
but I got in it and I saw him 50% of the time, which has never happened in my life, mind you. It just
Yeah, it just so
worked out.
happened he was comfortable in that pocket.
50% of the time it works.
But
Every
Every
time.
time.
yep, exactly. So learned a lot with him, and didn't end up getting him. Another guy did. Daughter had RSV, and so couldn't get on him. But
That's
happens.
I think that's probably for me what I've seen the most in like that ag fragmented country is like not necessarily that it's going to be easier to kill those deer, but you are going to likely encounter them multiple times. Whereas like where I'm at, it may be one time
Right.
all season. There are deer that I hunted for years that I never laid eyes on. Like never, camera would have been the only way to see them. Like I never saw them in person for years. And it's just like, that's kind of the norm.
I'd say you're very accurate with that.
Yeah.
You will see these, if you're hunting a particular deer or in 2 seasons, you want to hunt this deer, the blocks are small enough, you will see that deer often, I think. Now, I'm not saying you're going to kill them, but, I feel I do true. That's a very accurate statement for us.
I assume that plays to your styles too, because like I know, Jared and I have hybrided more, but like I'm a very aggressive hunter because of like the odds are like I don't ever run into them, right? So like I'm just pressing.
I'm aggressive.
Yeah, but like like on our Illinois farm, I mean you can be aggressive, but there's no reason to because like you either set up in the right spot.
We are aggressive, but it's strategic.
Be aggressive.
Yeah, be.
be aggressive.
Well, there's aggressive is like, can be interpreted in a multitude of ways. So it's like, if you don't know the property, like, aggressive would mean to just go to where they are, just basically just penetrate and get in and, read topography.
Are you saying that's because you're just naive to the property or like you're actually being aggressive?
I mean, I would say a little bit of both, more the latter than the former probably. But once you learn a property and you understand how deer move on it, you can be aggressive without being invasive, especially on a property like our Illinois property. You just learn to read it, and then it just comes down to timing and placement,
Right?
And what we've manipulated, what we've built around it.
Because I assume like in what we're talking about with your blocks, like you kind of have to tiptoe a little bit, right?
Oh, very
Sounds
much
like
so.
it. Yeah.
You have to because of how flat it is. You said it earlier, Jared. It's very difficult because they're going to spot you. They'll bed in a spot where they know they're going to see you coming. So you got to be very strategic. And I too have gotten more and more aggressive. I don't. If I'm getting sign, I'm going in. Like if there's any or inkling at all, I'm going in for it because I know as soon closer we get to gun, we're
You're toast.
It's kind of fun in that way because it's like you got to go way out and around.
Out and around, get permission, couple blocks that you have no interest in hunting, but just to get to where you need to go because you got to come in that way.
Wow.
There's a deer right now in the mid-60s, and I know exactly where he's bedding. Whether his pattern changes over the summer or not, or like through September or not, I don't know.
The triple brow deer?
Nope. I haven't seen that deer yet. No, the one at
Oh yeah,
I don't want to say where it's at.
I know where you're at. Yep.
Church Buck.
Yep.
And he's been in there with some other nice deer and stuff too. And it's one of those spots you're like, okay. So I would have eastern access to get to his location, like where I think he's gonna basically jump this fence. And you can't. There's no way, because if you're coming in from the east, there's just no way to get to it.
Yep.
And so I imagine, much like your guys' place, my solution is come in from straight north, and I'm gonna walk through a big block of timber to get through it, which I wouldn't normally do. But I know where he's at. I can see him from the south side, and so I'm gonna come in from straight north and get to the perpendicular point where there's like that's the end of the rope.
I do think he was one of those
there.
deer we saw that night. In that
I'm
group
sure he
working
was.
across.
I'm sure he was. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. So from there,
I'll be there. No.
we were south. We saw him there. Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly. He might be.
Eh.
And I'm going to come straight from the north. They just clear the fence row basically, and I'm going to walk that in through.
Yep. Yeah.
If those beans are green, he's done. That's the only thing that I'm like, I don't know.
Yep.
I think that's
Otherwise, it'll be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, so that's where it's like, there's an advantage because where he's at. You still have to kind of be strategic and tiptoe around it. Whereas I'm kind of just going in and going after him and pressing in. I have no idea where he's bedding. He could be in 10 different spots. I mean, wind and terrain help me. That would, I think, be one of the hardest parts is I rely so heavily on terrain for my access and even from thought process of where they're bedding. When it's pancake flat like that, I mean, they just turn this way and they're into the wind. It's they could lay anywhere and just be like, boop, I'm in the wind.
Yep.
And so I assume it's as much a vision thing as it is anything else.
Yep.
But yeah, that's pretty wild. I mean, are guys so I mean, anywheres, I would say opening Saturday for gun is just like a war zone.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
especially if the weather's even adequate, it is.
Yep.
I mean, it might be selfish, but I pray for rain
Pray
and
for
storms.
rain.
And
Me too.
But
It's selfish
that's just
and
to
it's
keep,
all right.
That's
That's what
just
I
to
do.
keep the deer around. But
Yeah.
it is. You'll
Yep.
boom, 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 boom all morning.
And I assume a lot of that is guys, no offense to the, some of the just first day gun hunters, but they're stumbling into a block just to get into a stand and they're pushing deer out. Those deer are pushing to the next block and it's like a domino effect at that point.
It is dominoes. That's what it is. Exactly. So,
Oh.
I mean, it's just as I get older, I just try and get in the right mindset, and then you're not disappointed. You already know because you've been through it year after year after year. It still stinks, and it's just because we love it, right? Just because we
why don't
love
you
it.
just drive a couple hours? Just go west or east.
I'm a sucker for challenge though too, because when you get it done, it's pretty dang rewarding, especially with stick and string.
I don't mean this wrong way. Have you? What are the kind of, you guys have killed some good deer out there?
Yeah, my wife and I, because she hunts too. Generally, one of us will get a good one every year.
Yeah. What do you call a good one? Like a 4-year-old 150 plus?
Yeah, she filmed me. I'll have to show you guys the hunt. It's pretty awesome. Killing a 176 with a bow. It's 10 foot off the ground. He worked a scrape as a full draw for 2 minutes and 59 seconds.
Jeez.
It's she
Good thing you
filmed
had
it
that
all.
crossbow.
Yeah, that was with an Athens.
They weren't even around then.
That was with an
All
Athens.
you got to do
She
with the
filmed all
crossbow,
that.
just turn it like this.
And kill
and
shot.
now it's vertical.
Kill shot.
Held it at 5
Kill
minutes,
shot.
full draw.
Kill shot. Yeah.
So
That's a giant, dude.
we've gotten 30s,
176.
40s, 40s.
Well, not right there, but when you killed him, he was.
Yeah, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. We've killed them all. So we killed a lot.
Okay.
We've been fortunate.
What's the Indiana tradition like? I guess I wonder that because, obviously it sounds like you guys and probably your families have always kind of hunted closer to home. Is there deer camps and stuff for opening day or?
I personally, I've literally only hunted since 2017.
Okay.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2017.
7
He's
years.
been a killer too.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude,
you've
that's-
gotten $5 with a bow now at this point.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a long time.
$5 with a bow, and you've been hunting for 7 years.
Yeah, so he's
Yeah,
just a killer.
That's a pretty good statistic.
That'll work.
Yeah.
So I want to say that.
And you
there
came
are
to
some-
hate crossbows in just that short amount of time.
I love that.
What?
Cross guns. Sorry. Excuse my French.
Yeah.
So I think that there are probably some camps or whatever. I personally, I just don't go out on opening shotgun day. I am that guy. It doesn't scare me, but I'm not gonna partake.
A purist.
It just, I've killed one.
He's like, you see any gay in these veins?
Yeah. I didn't think so. Do you see her anywhere? I didn't think so.
So it's
and you're not gonna.
The first deer I killed was with a muzzle loader. Every deer since then I've killed with a vertical bow.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And it's like crack. You're
100%.
addicted. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
How'd you get into bow hunting?
I guess how'd you get into hunting in general?
So my intriguing fella you brought us here.
Yeah,
dude.
so my buddy.
I thought I'd bring him along.
My buddy, once I got out of college.
Where'd you go to school?
Just a small Catholic school.
Not Notre Dame?
No. We were funded by Notre Dame. But just a small Catholic school.
Interesting.
So my buddy's always been, Cody's always been into hunting. I always had a lot of friends in hunting and whatnot. But my dad took me to the local bow shop and bought a used Hoyt Reflex.
Yeah,
I think
remember
that's
that?
it. Hoyt Reflex.
Reflex.
So did your dad hunt?
Nope.
But he's just like, hey, we're gonna go to the bow store.
No, I wanted to.
You've wanted to.
So
But your family, so your family's had,
no hunters.
and they've been in the farming practice?
No, we just own farm ground.
You just own farm ground. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I'm always curious to see what like gets people into it because
it sounds like your buddy Cody was your influence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Very cool.
You got to have a buddy or buddies. That's what makes it fun. Otherwise,
Yeah.
without the camaraderie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always neat to hear kind of how people get into that. Because, like, for a lot of us, it's just like, I don't know, we're, like, born into it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of how it's been. And sure, there's, like, influential people, like your uncle from a bow hunting side was more influential on you probably.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's, you know, for other ones, when people are like, yeah, you know, I got into it late, it's like, well, I'm curious.
I'm curious, too. Where did your distaste for cross guns come from? Grab that mic, pull it right into you, too.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Good. It's just not I don't know. It's not traditional. And I know, okay.
Don't feel like you have to say it because we say it. I'm just curious where you're.
I don't know. I think I feel like it's cheating.
Keegan's competitive, like naturally.
Yeah.
Like all of us are, I would say, but very. So I think it's just that. Like it's been vertical and now
you can crack one at 60. Like what? No.
But it's not a new thing, right? Crossbows have been legal since you started hunting.
100%. Yeah.
So at a certain point, something pissed you off that you're like, what's this? This is bullcrap.
I feel like it's cheating. And again, the trad guy is going to say, well, we think they're cheating too.
Yeah, where's that?
So I totally understand it. The guy that has, or the female that has an injury and can't pull a vertical bow
makes
back,
sense.
100%. I'm all in.
So you're saying she's got to be female and injured.
I don't.
And a child, an injured child's a female child.
Yeah. So taking somebody out of the woods is not. That's, we should never do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But just to be able to say, I shoot a fucking raven, like, nah, I'm out.
Do you
Not into it, huh?
Do you think
An injured female child?
Yeah, that's funny. Do you think that, like, just kind of recently thinking about how the landscape maybe has been changing? Obviously, we just talked about EHD. Like, what do you think your current, like, deer herd status is up there? You think it's in a good place? You think it's getting worse?
We were getting to a pretty decent place, and then this hit. 2010, 11 is when it all changed, and there were no deer. We haven't shot hardly any does at all.
Just because of EHD? Or?
Because we're trying to get the population back. I grew up, you'll shoot a couple does every year, you know, get one in bow, gun, muzzleloader, and we had plenty of deer. And then about that 2010, 11, 12 time frame, it's like everybody and their brother was hunting. You couldn't not find a new block of timber to hunt because you used to get access pretty easy. You guys talk about access all the time. So we just made a decision. We're not going to we're not killing does. So we haven't shot hardly any does in our area in a long time, at least our core group, just to try and get population back up. A lot of people jumped on board. Everybody hunt your hunt, but that was a decision we made because if not, we weren't going to have anything to hunt.
Sure.
But yeah, this EHD isn't going to help us at all. So I don't know how we're going to shake out of this. We just need rain and frost.
Yeah. I feel like where I live, where we hunt, I guess we're blessed from that perspective. I feel like our
You think some of that's the suburbs trickle into you?
Maybe a little bit in certain areas. You know, I think a lot of it also has to do with where I hunt. I feel there's a few hunters. There's good blocks with few hunters.
Yep, that makes all the world of difference.
They've consumed all the properties around themselves. Like, you know, so I feel like that, you know, the block behind my parents, you know, it's nothing to go out into a cut field there in the middle of winter and see, you know, 200 does.
Holy cow.
Jeez.
You know, and you'll see, you know,
it's nothing to go out there and see 200 does.
I promise you.
Whoa.
Can we relocate those does?
Yeah.
That's wild, man.
So
they're in you know, like right now, if that's standing corn, they're just all spread out, so it doesn't seem bad.
Exactly.
They're all does?
Oh, I mean, there'll be, you know, $20 out there, $30.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy though, to think that many deer, especially in the winter. So I assume like the blocks of timber, like the habitat within those blocks is dog shit. Like, can you see like right through them?
No.
Like, there's a decent amount of people logging. It's became, you know, a lot of people are coming back doing that more so.
Okay.
There's and you know, that property, people will say like it's one of the best properties in northern Indiana from a perspective of 3.5 acres connected, right? It's one solid block for 3.5 miles. I'm sorry.
Oh wow! So it's a
3.5 miles.
giant corridor.
Okay. Yeah. So
big difference there.
Yeah. So it blessed to be able to hunt part of it.
And how big is the property that you have?
So
that's why TJ's friends with you, I assume.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you're now made
I gotta live vicariously
I'm
through
understanding.
him.
Smart man.
So we're just under 50 acres with that CRP. Now
A chunk
always
of
get
that's
caught up.
open, like ag ground, or
No, so there's hundreds of acres of field that I
Yeah.
could theoretically hunt. I always get caught up. People say, "Oh, you hunt like 4,000 acres, and fucking 3,500 of it's field."
Yeah,
so no, you
fields.
hunt 500.
yeah, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that, you know, when you start talking about like a large corridor chunk in that fragmented habitat, yeah, I'm sure that's the key. Like that's what you
Loaded
got to
up.
find. You find, or like you said, you find the one spot where everybody else is kind of locked up and managing and doing that. Like your spot ultimately is also going to be good.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think I probably put my first camera out in 2018, summer of 2018. Yeah, I probably put my first camera out in summer of 2018, and I'll never forget like that first card pull. And I'm like, I mean, I've seen people that have killed deer that I know, and I'm like, holy shit. You know, I have a deer on my wall in my office. He went 163. Didn't kill him, found him dead. But he was just another deer on the farm, truly. Again, I wish I knew I wish I knew a little bit about hunting at
When
that
you were
point.
at that
Yes,
point,
exactly. I didn't know what I was doing.
Dang.
Yeah.
What do you think's really affecting in your area then? You think it's EHD and just a combination of guys smacking stuff, or?
It's the concentration. The ratio is off. Too many hunters versus too many deer, and not the habitat to hold them. We had a decent yoke problem, but we've got one of my neighbors. He's trapped about 30 to 40 yotes every season.
Wow.
That's helped a ton.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just everything working against when you don't have habitat and there's too many people. But again, we got thankful to have deer to hunt. We got the potential. I mean, there's like that year we got the 176. We didn't know it, but we were also getting pictures of a 195 that my cousin killed. So we had some 176 and 195 to hunt. There's been guys that killed 200s around us. So I mean, the potential's there. It's just habitat and not enough. Ratio's way off. Everybody's hunting the same deer.
Yeah.
Which I know a lot of listeners, same issue. So I'm a broken record, but it is.
They are and they aren't. I mean, it just depends on where they're at. Like there's a lot of people that, you know, I'm sure other people are hunting their deer, but like I think from a landscape level, most people would have a tough time picturing the size of the area that those guys are hunting the same deer where you're at versus like, oh, it's me and my next door neighbor. You know, we're hunting the same deer. Where you're at, it's like it's a big block of land because it's so vast in between.
We have permission on, 160 is a half by half mile, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've got permission on some of those, not a ton, and we share permission with other people's, but we've had the most luck we got permission on this field and that fence row. That's where we have the most luck. And it is because those bucks are so tired of the pressure of everybody being out recreational, and just there's does there, and there's small bucks that'll hang out and put up with it and jump up and run, hundreds of yards, bed down again, but those guys don't. So they're going and bedding in the fence row, standing corn all around them, and just hanging out. So
we see that too.
Yeah.
It sounds like we have maybe a little more timber than you guys do, and definitely more terrain. But still, I mean, especially in the summer, but I think even into the season, we'll see bucks hanging up in just little remote spots, the overlooked spots.
Yep. That's
you got to get out of the mindset of like, oh, here's this block of timber, and it's hard to describe. It's just like, dude, they're smart. Like they can determine like, hey, that's a little overlooked area. I've never experienced any pressure in here. The habitat is kind of whatever. You know what I mean? It's like they just want to have an advantage, whether it's a low point or a high point where they can smell or see it coming. And like nobody ever goes in there. And then when you find it and you stumble in there, you're like, duh. Like, here's all the sign.
That big one, we got him on in the square mile. There's probably 10 acres of woods in that whole square mile. But there was a plus sign right in the middle of that square mile of fence row. They're kind of weak. And we killed him out of a cedar tree. There was still standing corn in the opposing fields, and we were hunting right along it, north wind. He came in to work a scrape before dark and stuck him. He was working a scrape in the tree we were hunting, wind blowing from us to him, that close, like 3 to 5 yards. So we killed him there, and that just is a testament to a lot of those big deer, like you're saying, Jared. They're in those low or high points where
they're smart, dude.
I
don't care what anybody says.
No, and you might see them. I think you guys were talking earlier. You'll see them, but they're kind of untouchable. Then this story got me. So the farmer that farmed some of that area, he was driving down that road. We called this deer the king. Neighbor named him, and a buddy named him, Brady and Jeff. Anyway, they were hunting him when he was 3-year-old, and he's like 160 then. And the year I killed him, earlier, say he was out of velvet, so call it, I don't know, September, early October, because I killed him November 4th. They were driving down the road, and that buck was bedded in the square mile south. He was running through the cut bean, or it wasn't, is standing beans, brown beans at that point. He was running north to get in the block where we hunted him, okay? They're driving down the road, and that buck knew he wasn't going to beat them across the road. He backpedaled and laid down, put his chin in his paws, and bedded down because he knew he wasn't going to beat him crossing the road. And they threw it in park.
You could see him?
They're telling me this story. They could see him. He was hauling it. The buck was hauling to try and beat them to cross in front of him to get to the block where we hunted him. He knew the buck, the king, knew he wasn't going to beat him, so he stopped, locked up the brakes, and bedded down. Boom, dropped. Buried his head down in his feet, and they could just see the tips of his tines. They said they were sitting there in park for 5 minutes. Didn't do nothing, just locked up, didn't move. So then they threw it in drive and drove off. Their farmers have got things to do. They looked in their rear view. After they made it a couple hundred yards past him, he popped back up and crossed. So these deer are so aware of pressure and their surroundings to get to that age that it's almost eerie how smart they are. And we hear stories like that all the time about those big bucks. They just slip by in every situation to get to that age.
Yeah. I struggle to relay that to people to get to understand the mindset. Like we think so much about oh, deer do this, deer do that. And it's like, okay, go out into their world and imagine that this is their home and they understand and they can perceive it and they are not reasoning necessarily, but they understand where trouble is, how to avoid it. They know how to survive.
Yep.
And we don't give them enough credit.
No.
In some ways, I have to maintain the mindset of they're goats and I can kill them and I dominate them.
Yep.
But and I have to have that so that I can just be confident in my approach.
Right.
But they will find the spots that you can't, and they'll use every sense to their advantage, and that's how they survive. That's how they get to 4, 5, 6+ years old.
Yep.
They're not dumb.
They're not dumb. The only time you catch them being dumb is when they're chasing the girls around. That's the only time.
Yeah. And at that point, they're so sporadic, it's tough to
you
target
can't. Yeah,
one.
it's tough as a bow hunter to even hunt them at that point.
Yeah.
It's why it's fun. It's why it's fun to target them.
Yeah.
HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Spartan Forge.
Dude, maps. Mapping, right?
Yeah.
It all starts with a map, a visualization of a new property, into the fine-tuning of different food plots, different habitat projects, where those are going to go, all the way to sharing pins and looking kind of like beyond the layers with something like LiDAR, which is exclusive to Spartan Forge as of now.
Yeah, and whether we're looking at it from a management side to put in food plots or switchgrass, or if we're taking a run and gun public approach on Kansas, it all starts with a map. It starts with a strategy there. You and I are going to have our own Blue Force team, which will allow us to run our own devices, but be able to see what you're adding or what I'm adding to that single map, which is really going to be critical moving forward this hunting season.
That's right. So if you're looking for a mapping software to try out this year, or maybe you're just like not getting what you need out of the one you're using currently, Bill's offered us a promo code of HUNTR20, HUNTR20, that you guys can use to get your own subscription up and rolling. Check out Spartan Forge, download the app, use that promo code, and we'll be using that this year.
Make sure you check out Spartan Forge.
So let's get on that topic. What is that one thing? Chew, right? What's that one thing you have to take to the stand?
Now,
Yeah.
My bow.
Outside your bow,
Yeah.
your pack,
arrows.
whatever.
I mean, unless it's
Cross
like opening
guns.
day and I have to have my Primos buck roar. And that's not a commercial spot, but like that is the best grunt call that's ever been made. And it's like, I literally have the same one I've been using for, I think I've killed 10 or 12 bucks with that same grunt call. I have notches in it.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the one thing I have to have with me to feel pretty again, not opening day necessarily, but like starting in mid-October, she's in there.
I don't know if there's like a thing. Like, yeah, like that's like, why don't you start, Keegan? If you're going to bring that up, like,
yeah, I'll go.
No.
I mean,
He's like,
everybody
of course.
everybody that I hunt with knows high chews. Got to have high chews.
What's that?
A candy.
High
I might
chews.
have some in
is
the
that
truck.
like a caramel, like a camel
No.
tail or a cow tail?
What'd you say?
I can't. Cow tail's what I meant.
That's
What?
different.
Is that like a
topic.
Swedish
High
fish?
chew. High chew.
High chew. Is that like a
It's like a taffy, but 10 times better.
like a Starburst?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
Yeah, you're warm.
You know what they are? What the hell's wrong with us? You run an ice cream shop.
And actually, so I was out in Utah with Taylor Larson. I don't know if you guys know Taylor at all or not, but
Is that a guy or a girl?
a guy.
Okay.
He worked at
Why would
Hoyt.
we know him?
He worked at Hoyt.
He was at
Yeah.
Hoyt.
We do know Taylor, don't we?
yeah, we
And
do.
then he was at now he's at UV.
UV. Yeah.
So I'm out in Utah with Taylor, and I was already addicted to high chews, and he pulled some out, and we were walking. He's like, "No, like this is what you should eat. Like this is the candy of like this is what I put in my packs. You know, it's good carbohydrates. I don't eat carbohydrates. Clearly, you can tell that. But I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like
Interesting.
I've already loved these things.
Who brought the mountain ops over there?
I did.
You take some of that beforehand.
Yeah.
What is it? Pre-workout.
He's all juiced up.
Duh. I mean, road dogs.
Duh.
Yeah.
Road dogs.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Big supplement guy, huh? Big, like, I don't know.
High chews.
High chews.
I've heard of them. Like,
Have you?
maybe. It must be an Indiana thing.
I know Cody's down in fucking Florida eating them.
They sell them in every state. So
Yeah,
What do you
so-
get them at, like, the gas station?
Yeah.
Yeah.
high C chews, like the
I know
Yeah.
High C. I mean, obviously.
Like
Just
the-
add the
the juice.
HEW. Yeah. High chew.
Are they made by the
they're-
same the same thing?
I don't think
Are they
so. They're an
specific?
Asian candy.
An Asian candy.
They're an Asian candy.
Mm.
It's cool. We don't discriminate.
No, I mean I love.
They're
fortune
addicting.
cookies.
They're addicting.
A lot of flavors.
Man, I
Wow.
wouldn't say there's anything like that I'm like, gotta have it.
I mean, our food. If we want to stick on the food ensemble, it evolves. So usually it used to be pork butt in Kansas. Like I would make a pork butt before we go, and Jared would.
I almost died. Well, whatever was about, they weren't like,
It wasn't. It could have gone in longer.
Oh, okay.
So it was still a little.
so it's like
bit
you take a
put
bite
together.
and you're swallowing like all you can swallow.
I got you. A little lumpy.
Little lumpy. And it was just like, when is this gonna end?
It's also yeah.
You know how you swallow a piece of steak and it's stringing down another one?
Yeah.
That's what it was like.
Pulled the next guy down.
It's also like 6:45 in the morning, and he's pounding.
I do, yeah. There's nothing left after 7:30.
7:30. He's like, so I already ate my lunch. I'm like, wow, dude,
Yeah.
it's a long day.
That's a long day for you.
Yeah. But after that, it's kind of, we just have like lunch meat sandwiches. We do throw champagne of beers in the lunch bag every once in a
Yeah, you
while.
want to have one of those climb down, obviously. to
Yeah,
drink that.
clearly. I mean, safety harness is on.
Right. Lineman's belt.
Yeah.
I made my dad like a pretty iconic lunch last year.
cried.
In Kansas. Yeah, brought him to tears. Brought him to tears. Yeah. No, nothing crazy, but just, it was a thoughtful lunch. It was, he's like, hey, maybe you could, he wasn't expecting anything. He's like, maybe you could bring me a lunch out. And I was like, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, got you.
So what did I make him? I made him
A couple Sammys.
a couple Sammys, like probably two nice Sammys, like maybe a PB&J and a pork butt or whatever.
No, it was lunch meat.
Lunch meat. We were past the pork butt.
Like, ham or
Too many
salami type thing.
near-death experiences.
Yeah, choking.
Yeah, loaded them up with deli meats and your cheeses and stuff. I threw one beer in there, maybe two.
Maybe some Doritos or something.
I'm gonna say some Doritos, some candies. Threw some candies in there. Made a whole nice like little lunch.
Like filled a gallon zippy.
Filled the gallon zippy. Yeah. And drove it out to him and raised it up. And he texted me later. He's like, I could have cried. He's like, he's like, that was the nicest thing anybody's ever done for me.
I mean, you think about those all day rut sits.
Because he was probably expecting like, a PB&J and a tinfoil. That's what he was
protein
expecting.
bar. Something.
No, I brought him the real thing.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
awesome.
you think about those all day rut sits. Like some days, like when the movement's slow, all you got to look forward to is your lunch.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Dude, I rag on my dad a lot, like but
He's a trooper.
He'll stick in there and he's getting
He's a
it,
dark to
and
dark.
and he's working for it. Like recently, he's earned his bucks, man.
Yep.
He's freaking out there with bent knife fixing my mistakes, and he freaking my chainsaw. He's like, yeah, it's brand new. He took it out the other day, got it all fixed, got new bar on there, new chain. He's like, your chainsaw's good to go.
Very nice.
I said, you're spoiling me, dude.
Yeah, very nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Nothing bad to say about Dad here recently.
No, he's the farm
He's been
manager,
taking care of
too.
me. He's been running the farm, and
Yeah.
that's been fun. So.
Yeah, I don't know what else, like, other than that, from, like, what do I always have to... I used to be real paranoid about if I forgot my face mask. Like, that's just kind of how I grew up. I was like, oh, shit, if I don't have a face mask, I might as well not even be the stand. I'm going to get busted.
Yep.
And then that faded. Well, it turned into, like, black facing with, like,
He used
paint.
to go Bernie Mac, straight black
Yeah,
face.
pretty dark. And then now it's like, I don't... Not
Do you wear a face mask?
Not anymore. I don't wear anything.
Let's dive into that a little
I don't either.
bit. Let's
Okay.
dive into Camo.
Yeah,
a
you
little
lead.
bit.
Go ahead.
So where are we at? Solids or Camo? Or pattern?
Yeah,
Yeah,
both.
we're yeah.
Solids or pattern?
I
I'm not
mean-
afraid of solids.
No.
So where we're at right now, we both own a pair of Sika stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's really good. It's really nice apparel.
it's nice, like especially later in the season, like the
Fanatic stuff.
Fanatic stuff's nice. I don't know. We're kind of, it's just like where we're at. It's like we don't have a relationship with that company or anything. It's just
Pattern
kinda like,
wise, I'm up in the air. on
pattern
it.
wise, truthfully, I think it's a disadvantage.
I like.
I've had deer see me in it. I have. I
Yeah.
think I know for a fact they've had some batches that have had some UV stuff. I wonder,
really?
I wonder if I'm one of them. But I don't know. It hasn't screwed me bad enough. Like I still wear it.
I used to really like that Predator pattern that I was wearing in that
I
picture.
love the Predator pattern. Yeah.
Yep.
Very nice. And in fact, that's kind of why I like the Kuyu Vias pattern.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's very similar to that like browns and breakups type. I like that a lot.
Yep, I dig it. But for instance, on this, just at the core of me, I don't think the camo pattern matters at all.
Yeah.
Some breakup probably doesn't hurt, but like, so I, like on my North Dakota trip, I'll probably wear these pants
Yeah.
Yeah.
and this shirt and a mosquito suit.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah, I think
I might have killed my mule deer in these
You
pants.
probably have. I mean,
These are cool pants. These are just KUHL.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Oh,
like
yeah. Yep.
just like an athletic cut.
all of our mule deer hunts. That's what we wore. We basically wore a t-shirt
Yeah.
and our cool pants.
Yeah.
like for all the mule deer hunts. Yeah, I think the stand stuff. It's I want stuff that fits well. Like I don't want baggy stuff. I would say we're both probably more on the side of layering. So like I don't need something that's super heavy because I'm gonna layer appropriately.
agreed. Also, I hate hoods. Just not like the hood, like just like hoods on my jacket. Like I'm just not a big hood guy. Yeah, it's just me.
Yeah. So if it's got,
Just saying,
if you can zip off the hood or it doesn't have one,
the hood needs to be removable or not present.
Yep.
Do you wear a sock, like a hat, if it's too cold? Or do
Yeah.
you stick with
Yep.
a hat?
No, definitely
No.
a beanie.
Yeah, beanie
Okay.
hat.
And I used to be beanie on top of cap because I think I was self-conscious about how my forehead looked. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, I just thought it was weird to just wear a beanie. I just didn't have the face for it. But that's past.
Yeah, straight
So
beanie.
now I'm straight beanie.
Yep. Makes
I'm
a
more
lot of sense.
comfortable with myself now. So.
Yeah,
T-
we're
T-
working on you.
TJ's a big drip guy. He rocks the drip.
What's that?
Sicko.
Yeah,
Oh.
I like
Drip.
stuff that fits.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
I mean,
really
they make
enjoy it.
great apparel.
Yeah, I've tried a lot of them, and I just
It's
come
the
back
best.
to it because it fits
Has a great cut.
really
Yep.
well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Good quality, great cut. Yep.
They have bibs, right? I'm trying
Yep.
to remember what I.
Yeah, I think we have a Fanatic pair, which is really heavy.
Yep.
And then I think it's Incinerator or something.
Yeah, I've got a lighter bib. They're
I
it's
can't, whatever
good
the
stuff.
whatever the mid layer.
Good stuff. I
mid-season
have
is.
no complaints. If I have any complaints about our stuff, it's the camo pattern and it's the potential for UV. I noticeably was seeing more in it than I was in my Predator stuff previously. I would say.
I do think that I know they have like early stuff. I think I have a pair of that, but I would prefer a mid layer or mid, season pant. I don't think they have that in the elevated camo.
I don't know the names of all the stuff there, but they have I have a heavier of the two early season. That's a nice.
Is that
October.
a pant?
is it Stratus? I feel
pant.
like Stratus.
Yeah, Stratus.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
those are bibs, aren't they? Do they have
They
pants?
are, yes, and they have the jacket and the Stratus too. But
Yep.
there's a lighter weight non-bib. I forget the name of that one.
I think that would be my beef. Is like I would because like that I wore that like just mid-season thing. I would just layer thermals under it.
Yep.
And like I'll wear that to January.
Yep.
And I'm fine. I mean the Fanatic suit it comes out, but it's got to be cold. Like that's
I don't know if I've ever worn it.
yeah. It's gotta be
Truthfully, I don't know if
freaking-
it's ever got cold.
It's
You
gotta be
guys
cold.
probably have.
We have to have it, especially the wind. It'll
Yeah.
cut right through you.
I was
with
gonna
all
say,
the
like-
open.
Yeah.
I have a pair of Bill Winke. They're not his brand, but I saw him wearing them, and so I bought them when I was I'm 31 now. I must have been 20 in my early 20s. Just the Cabela's base layer. Have you seen these? They're the cool looking. They're black, but they have the green and tan
Yes.
accents.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hot stuff.
I've been wearing those. I have the same pair. Like the thumb holes are all shredded, and I've been wearing
Yeah.
those for a long time.
Yep. I have.
That's the basis for any good, apparel.
I have like the old
strategy.
school Under Armour 3.0 that I've been rocking for 10 years, 12 years probably.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you figure it out, man, it's like you need one pair of good socks.
Yep.
Don't
that's
wear.
tough.
You don't wear two. That's a mistake.
Yep.
For sure.
I took.
Everybody knows
Was it
Oh, I wear
Donnie Vincent's?
That's why your feet are always cold.
They're not.
You wear two?
Yeah.
I wear two
I don't know
sometimes.
what it is, but there's a
I
science.
do
It's a
the
scientific
toe
fact.
warmers on top.
Yeah.
I'll go
Of my
toe warmers.
toes.
Tight
Yeah.
fitting base and then heavier on the outside.
Listen,
That's-
there's something
I
to
got you.
Google
Yep.
it, research it. There's something to two pairs of socks will actually deduct from the heat retained by your feet. It's something
I
about
just
that.
base it on what feels good and how they stay warm, and it's worked better.
Okay, we'll do that. I mean, I'm not
I think
gonna deter
Donnie.
you from
I
that.
believe you.
I think Donnie recommended the Smart Wool socks. They're really nice.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
But it is a thin layer, so I can stick my toe warmer.
I go toe
'Cause it's the
warmers.
sticky one.
I definitely
to
go
the
toe
top
warmers.
of my toes and then heavy over it. Because you can't stick it to the heavy.
No.
Doesn't
Here's
work.
a learning experience that I'll save some people a learning curve. I used to think that those toe warmers, you'd stick them in the bottom of your boots
Yep.
and then put your feet in, and then I realized that you just step on them.
Yeah.
Stick them to the
Yep.
bottom of your toes and then put them in.
Yeah.
I'm like, it makes way more
I
sense.
put them on top because I can't stand walking on them. So they're always on top of my toes. And then you can move your toes and it keeps it
Keeps it-
agitated.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my go-to.
Interesting.
And then one of those bad boys right up here
I stick.
works great.
I
That was my
sticky.
wife's. Yeah, sticky. Full body sticky.
Wow.
That was
I
my
don't know if
wife's
I could
go-to.
do that.
Oh, man. You get out those open fields ripping and roaring with wind, and you got that one right there, like on top of your
Yeah.
Under Armour layer or whatever. Oh,
I used to have the
Amazing.
The
Try it.
The heated underlayers. Remember? Did we
Yep.
get those from someone? I forget who had.
You
this.
did. I don't think I.
They're like you press a button
No.
and they're like all heated.
Heated vest.
now the vests, they
Yeah,
got
I would
those.
just torch up though. I get way too hot in that stuff.
Yeah.
Are you guys glovers? You wear gloves?
Yes.
Yeah, me neither.
Hand warmers.
Ever.
Hand warmers.
I go straight hand warmers.
Super hand warmers.
What do you
all
do
year
when
long.
What do you do when you got to stare down with your shooter and it's
I just let
10 degrees?
Don't care.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Jared's already missing a
You
finger.
got
He
your
doesn't
bow.
care.
He's
I
getting
shoot a
close.
carbon bow, brother. Got to get on the
It's
train.
10
here, dude.
degrees. What do you do?
It's carbon bow. It don't
Man,
get cold.
You guys are just tougher than I
Your
am.
hand,
I
your hand will get cold, but you keep the old release hand warm. You know, this one's just taking the brunt force.
Yeah, I
What if you're
wearing
clipped on
gloves.
and he catches you?
Well,
I
Still
shoot
just
a,
power
shoot
through.
a thumb release.
Just tuck up.
You shoot a wrist release.
Oh yeah.
What is this? 1999.
No.
Come on, bro.
No, it is.
That's what real bow
the
hunters
least-
use.
What are you, like 47?
I shoot the True Fire chicken wing. It's the one that folds back.
Yeah, my dad shot that until 5 years ago.
That's cool.
Oh,
But
sorry, buddy.
No, it's
No,
I don't care.
The triggers are where it's at.
There's no failure points. It never comes unclipped. Always know it's with me. If I gotta get down, I'm not worrying about it falling off.
I feel bad. I didn't mean
So-
to make fun of you.
No, yep. I'll counter. I mean, it's just what works for
Hey,
me.
I'm a trigger guy. Always
Yeah.
have been.
Yeah,
You're still shooting a wrist release too, aren't you?
Yeah, and a kisser button.
yeah.
I still shoot a kisser.
A kisser button.
I still shoot
Damn
a kisser.
straight.
Dude, you don't need any of that.
This isn't professional archery. I'm
Come
trying to just
on.
slay a deer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No thinking. Tuck that baby in and let her fly.
Cutting that nose button off.
Yeah.
Not for me.
No.
I put one on the other day. I just thought it was a cool thing to do. I was like, oh,
Right. Everybody's doing it. Nope.
I didn't like it.
It's another thing to
It's poking
think
my,
about.
it's poking
Focus
my
on.
nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pokey.
Sharp.
But yeah. No.
Yeah,
I'm
I
kind of old school on a couple
I've
things.
tried thumb releases and back tension releases. I hated them.
I do because I'm a glove guy when it's 0 degrees. I got to have gloves on. So then
Yeah, that
is
probably
more of a
really-
non-factor
Yeah.
for anchoring, and I got gorilla
So,
hands.
okay. I came from a wrist release. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like,
I mean, everybody basically started
everybody
with
started with, I
wrist
shot a Cobra wrist release forever.
Yep.
Then I had a Scott for a long
Scott,
time.
yep.
So when you have a glove on, are you going over the glove?
Yes. Over the glove.
Like, and then pulling it with a glovey finger?
Well, I got the one that exposes just my finger.
You do have an exposed
yeah.
finger.
Yeah. If
Okay.
not, I'll cut it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
I've done that.
I'm a no
Yeah.
glove on my wrist, and if I wear a glove, it's on this hand that grabs the bow.
Don't get me wrong.
I
I've
do
gone.
that too. Only when it's really cold will I put a heavy glove on the shooter side.
I've done that. I've done that.
Only that. But otherwise, I'm
It's
running
good to
two
know. I'm
different
not.
gloves.
We've all gone through the glove progression.
Oh, yeah.
My dad used to have a pair of like the Gore-Tex gloves for fishing or something. Like they
Yeah.
were waterproof Gore-Tex gloves, and they had the two missing fingers. I was like, those were cool. Those
Yeah.
were super
Yep.
sweet. I wore those.
My
for a
new
while.
one's been, I know we have Muley Frig, but I still use the Eberly stock bino harness, and I've got the muff underneath it,
Ooh.
which is
yeah.
awesome.
That would be awesome.
It's really nice.
I went to a muff this last season, an electric one.
Love a good
I
muff.
forget what brand it is. But yeah,
There's like
heated.
one brand that's popular.
Battery
I
heated?
forget which
it's
brand.
battery. Yeah, so I have like 2 or 3 batteries, and
Yeah, I carry a battery hand warmer in that muff.
I go through a lot of hand warmers.
Like,
Same.
yeah,
Every
the,
year.
the
Should've
old school
bought
hot
stock in 'em.
hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't-
Continuing to give Dad credit here. Every year he goes and buys just a giant
Yep.
giant box, and we go through them.
Yep.
And the toe warmers.
Necessary.
Almost every hunt when it gets cold. Yeah, I'm warming up.
Yeah.
it has to be like super. The reason I asked about the hat, like it has to be super cold for me to put on a beanie.
Oh, not
Same.
me.
I'm
Really?
I want to.
Oh,
wear,
yeah.
I'll jump to it quick.
I want to wear a normal hat.
Same.
Is it because you want to hear?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Yep.
Oh, see, I tuck the ears out.
Okay. Yeah.
And you're worried about your forehead.
And so
Exactly. Exactly.
Cody's over here rolling.
Touche. Touche. You guys don't
You
tuck
got
the
to
ears
point
out?
forward.
so a couple years ago, then my buddy got me
Beat to a different drum.
my first Stormy, and so obviously I still could rock a hat form and have a Stormy chromer. So I was keeping my head warm.
What is this, like a short build, like a bow hunter hat?
No, it looks like a normal hat. You
But
guys
it's
don't know what
got-
a Stormy is?
no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It's got the flip
shit.
down wool
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, like old school stuff.
I'm with
like
you.
we'd see in like Christmas Story.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Gotcha.
So they have
Stormy.
They have an olive.
Daniels.
They have an.
That's like a 3 finger you just poured for yourself there, Cody. That's deep.
Proud of you. Proud of you, Coach.
Whoops.
I'm driving. You're good.
You may not be.
He's crashing at my place tonight. We're
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Yeah, Stormy makes sense then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys
I dig
are
it.
you're digging. Well, I mean, you're up there too, but you guys are in different weather conditions. Like I can't remember the last like cold hunt I've had.
Oh man, it's
I wish we had more cold hunts, like
Well-
especially in late season. It's just warm all
late
the time.
season's my fave too. So I'm all because that's when the least amount of people are out there. So you feel like you're back to the old
Because you
days.
guys are still getting like actual winters and snow.
Only
up
problem
there.
is
We
all
do.
the deer are dead.
Well, yeah.
A lot
Do you
of
have any
them.
more of those drinks?
I do.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot
Yeah.
of them.
Well, we'll wait on that. But
Because
yeah,
your stuff isn't. I mean, you're not that cold at the farm, right?
It'll get cold.
Yeah.
Dad killed
'Cause
that
you-
8 point. It was like negative 26 the day after
Yeah,
Christmas.
see, like,
we had
we're
we had a brief, very cold spell.
that's very cold.
We don't get. I mean, the past 2
Yeah, that
years.
was that Christmas spell. That's when
Yeah.
like pipes were freezing
Right.
and shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
But in general, no. The past 2 years, it's not been like hard winters.
So I think that's probably the big difference. Is like, I mean, I could wear a ball cap and no gloves through the season in like Ohio and Kentucky. I'm like,
In fact, we've had Kansas tags. I want to say the last 2 years, 2 years or every other whatever it's been, and like we hunted in late November, and I was like, I'm going back. Both years, I'm like, I'm going back, and neither of the
Never got
years it
cold.
really got cold.
yeah, it never got cold. The last time, I mean, we say that because it's been like 70s when we're there the third week in November. It was like 2018 was the year that it was like
I was
under 20 degrees every day. It was like snow, and it was the craziest thing that I've hunted in Kansas. It was freezing every day. Yeah, in fact, like the guys were with my dad and Steve would like stay. They're like, yeah, it's too cold this morning. I'm like,
Yeah,
What?
that's
This
the
is
point.
perfect.
That's why we're
Yeah,
here.
that's-
it's
Let's
November
go.
15th in Kansas. Yeah,
yeah,
we're hunting.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think that probably dictates a lot of like the what you wear and what you're hunting. Like the guys down south who are listening to this are like, yeah, we're in shorts in November.
It's been a long time since I've been cold in the stand. Like I know what layering system works, and so I'm just, you're good. You got your hand warmers. Like, when I shot that big 8 point in Kansas a couple of years ago, I forgot my hat, and that sucked. So
yeah, I remember I had like that
I
one
wore
out of my truck.
I wore Steve's Ford truck hat. He
Yeah,
had
that
a
was
ball
the-
cap that happened to be in the
Yeah, I
center
remember
console from when he bought from the dealership when he
Yeah.
bought
Oh,
it.
nice.
I
So
remember that.
I shot my buck in that hat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
I was cold though.
I think it
I
was
was cold that morning.
Is that was the first year you were missing your finger too? So I remember you putting on your gut glove and it was like there was like
I,
floppy
don't know, I
fingers.
can't remember if it was the first year, but
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah.
Do you have a go-to hat?
Oh yeah.
Okay, of
course.
Very good.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean,
it's a new one every year. My ball cap's gonna be the same. I got a Carhartt ball cap.
I'm usually I'm wearing this one a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear one of ours this year probably. Probably the black one.
Yeah, I just wear this one mostly.
I'll probably wear the black Hunter hat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a good hat.
I like
You should
it.
buy one. Everybody should
going
buy
to
one.
before I
We'll
leave.
send you guys some.
I do think, I mean, ball cap makes a good, the beanie makes a difference. There's bad ones and there's good ones for sure. Like you don't want one that looks like a big ass condom on your head. That's not gonna. That's not
Yeah,
gonna
you gotta
fly.
leave
want
room,
that.
right?
Yeah, yeah, you don't want that.
You want a little airspace in there.
That's not gonna work, right? That's just you see those people in the stand and you're just
Smoking
like,
weed, smoking weed,
Yeah.
smoking weed,
Yeah.
weed.
yeah. You're like that guy's not killing shit tonight.
Where'd
Not
that
with
bottle of
thing.
bourbon go?
So-
Cody, you hogging that over there?
No, sir.
Oh, we have that.
But yeah, see, you gotta have a right fit. Which I think we've got beanies, right? Coming.
I've had some gray beanie I've had for a couple of years. I'm gonna probably wear. Oh yeah, no, we're gonna do some beanies. Some Hunter beanies. Yeah, yeah. That's the same basic material. So
Yep.
those would be nice. I'll probably wear one of those. Yeah, good
there
call.
you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
When it
that's
gets a little nippy.
that's it.
Nipple.
How about boots?
I don't know. I experimented last year with some Danners and actually hunted out of some Solomon shoes.
Interesting. Yeah, like Solomon hiking shoes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Very comfortable.
very
not very insulated, right?
not very insulated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've thought the same in the past. I've been like, these hiking boots are super comfortable. I'll wear these. My Keens. I have a pair of Keens.
Yeah.
Not insulated.
No.
I'm pretty strict on the rubber boots.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
Just
I got a
whatever
nice
do.
pair of lacrosse.
Yep.
I've got an early season pair, which I'd like to have another one, honestly. I'd like to have 2 early season pairs, and I have like a mid to late season insulated pair.
Yep.
They're Sitka colored to match my stuff for whatever reason. But
Because you're like
the
that.
same.
I prefer a solid boot, honestly. I prefer solids, like just across the board.
The original lacrosse green boots for early season are badass.
They're badass. Yeah.
well, they just brought those back, didn't they?
Yeah.
Have a big
Yeah.
They modified them just slightly,
Yeah.
but I got a pair. They're really nice.
Yeah.
This year, or that's what I have, right?
The green one?
Yeah, mine are green.
Yeah. But yeah.
Killed my North Dakota buck for sure.
I mean, lacrosse makes really good stuff. The whatever 800 grams of thin slate muck boots are really
Mucks
nice
are solid.
too.
Yeah.
Mucks
I'm
have
mucking
been kind of-
lacrosse.
I've gone through quite a few of those.
Yeah, they've been kind of a solid.
The material on those is really nice. It's,
Yep.
it's not straight like, you know what I'm talking
It's
about?
not
Like-
rubber through.
It's the Muck Master is what you want.
Mm-hmm.
What I love about you can fold them down,
Yeah.
let
Oh,
them
yeah.
breathe a little bit more.
Yeah. Makes a difference.
It does.
People get it.
does.
We were talking about with Cody, like flipping through like old pictures of like what you wear. Like you remember like the old ducky boots? We called them like ducky boots. They were like, you know, they were that leather brown and then just like navy or black.
They
on
had
the base.
literally the duckbill like
yeah,
toes.
yeah.
They had the lines running out
Yep.
of them. They were like
Yep.
tannish.
I remember wearing those
Or
and being like,
gray.
these are not warm at all. And my dad's like, yeah, you'll be fine.
Keegan, have I showed you my moon boots?
Yep.
Yep. It's like I'm an astronaut or elephant feet. Have you
Yep.
guys heard of them? Moon boots. So they're for, I don't know, really, really cold weather and snow. So they're your feet, you have zero control when you're climbing in them. You can walk on level,
Oh.
which is what we have. But it's like, I mean, I wear 13, so it looks like an elephant track.
So
when I
not like
walk.
the booty thing you pull over?
No, it is oversized. It's got a waterproof exterior and then
Wow.
like an inch of insulation everywhere. So you feel kind of like you're skiing inside the boot a little bit.
Damn.
But when you do the double sock method with the toe warmer on top, 0 degree weather
Just
all
toasty.
day, no problem. No problem. Because
did-
rubber and cold
Yeah. That's bad.
and wind
Yeah, on like a metal stand or
on
something.
a metal stand, I don't care if it's 1,200 gram
Yep.
thin slate or whatever. And I've had great luck with those because we're rarely walking more than a half mile to a permanent set in late season. Not really hanging and hunting as much late season. So my wife and I wear those, and it's been a game changer.
Yeah.
Because that's normally a thing for us is like, how many hours can we
It's
sit?
going to be freezing.
Because it's going to be freezing and there's going to be a lot of wind. And
Yeah.
so those, non-issue. You don't even think about it. It changed the game for us. Moon boots.
One
boots.
one thing that definitely has helped me is ice baths. For real. In terms of like tolerating the cold. That's not why I do it, but I can tolerate it much
Yeah.
better because of that. I'm just like, oh, okay, this is cold. I'm familiar with this. Your body just kind of like figures it out.
Yeah.
You ever do it like, or even a cold shower?
Every morning.
You do cold showers?
Ice bath.
You do an ice bath every morning.
We have an edge.
Is that like a actual thing? Nice. I want to get one of those.
Jared's
eventually.
got a
Should get one.
livestock tank.
Yeah.
I have a lot, and I haven't been doing it recently because it's not cold out.
Yeah.
It's like it wouldn't freeze.
No, it is. It's a struggle. We had an ice barrel made
Yep.
in Ohio.
Yep.
And it actually costs a lot.
Is
of
it
money
the
to
blow up one?
No,
it's like
it's a
legitimate barrel.
what would that be? A roto molded.
Yeah.
Probably roto molded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is just costing way too much money to keep filling this thing with ice. And like, we had these big blocks we could fit. Like, it wasn't my thing. So, anyways, we bought a Edge Theory.
What are those?
Which
run?
has the cold condenser or whatever.
Yeah. Yep. So it's got a chiller with it.
Yep.
$5.
$5,000.
Yeah.
Yep.
Totally worth it.
Yep.
Totally worth it.
Interesting.
Yeah. I was
It
telling
would-
Cody last night. The only reason I haven't is because like I don't know if we'll stay at this house forever, and I'm like eventually I want to do like a cement pad outside with like a built-in sauna
Yeah,
and a
100%. The icing on the cake would
and
be
an
the
ice bath.
sauna. I mean,
Yeah.
if you can go from, do your, 4 minutes in an ice bath, 20 in a sauna and go for an hour back and forth, like your life
huge.
is, yeah.
Dude, that's a feeling everybody should experience. Just
a
the
high.
euphoria that comes out.
What is that? Is that dopamine? They say.
100
Is that the dopamine
Yeah.
release?
Yeah. It's a high that if you've never done
I crave it. To this day, I haven't taken I do cold showers, but I haven't taken an actual ice bath since must be February or March maybe. And I crave it.
Yeah, it's a high.
I know the feeling. Like my brain knows the feeling, and I'm like, I want to get in an ice bath.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it definitely helps you tolerate the cold.
Yeah.
Too. You're just like, oh yeah, this is
Just cold. Yeah, that the cold and the wind is really what knifes you. Like
Yeah.
cold is okay, it's
Yeah.
tolerable. Wind is rough.
I think it's the mental toughness that a cold plunge requires. Like you learn to just be okay with complete discomfort.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it's cold out and the environment sucks, you're just like, you just go inside and you're just like, I'm good.
Yeah.
You just endure it.
Yeah.
That's interesting they say that. Yeah. It's when I was in college and had the opportunity to play small college football, like we played into December every year.
Yeah.
When I was in college. So
Yeah, it was cold as hell.
yeah. I mean, we didn't have an indoor heated facility. So,
Yeah.
you know, we were practicing outside in the snow or whatever. So that's a valid point, I think. I think you build up that tolerance or whatever and you're just used to it. Back to not wearing gloves or wearing a beanie or whatever. Like,
people are way tougher than they think. It's a mental. You just quit. You're just like, I'm cold.
Yeah, they don't want to be
Or
uncomfortable.
I'm this or I'm that. Yeah, if you can understand what your limits really are, like if you sit in an ice bath for 5 minutes,
right.
that's serious.
Okay.
You know, and then like, oh, it's 15 degrees and windy for 4 hours. You're like, okay,
Right.
I've been colder.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your brain knows that, I think, subconsciously.
100%. Oh, that first dip, like the first thing I do, I get in the ice bath. First thing I do is go all the way under.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you done an ice bath?
No,
Oh, dude, I bet you would love it.
probably.
I bet you would really like it.
I mean, I used to do it when I was running in college and stuff.
It's exhilarating. Like, it sucks, but it's it's like you're like, whoa.
right to the brain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should get one. You should buy one for here.
I've been looking for
Jared can use it.
a real sauna, not the infrared one, because they don't get hot enough.
No,
Right.
yeah, a real one. You want like a barrel
Yeah.
sauna.
They're expensive.
Yeah.
They're a little
They're not as expensive as the ice bath.
No, $3,000 to $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I figured for a concrete pad with a sauna and an ice bath and to pipe out a shower, $15,000.
100%.
Probably, yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
which I'll do someday, just not at this place.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I need $10,000 for my new transmission, so that's great.
Did they tell you that? Really?
$10,000.
How many miles you got on that truck?
Goodness.
100,000.
That's ridiculous. Ford should pay for that.
It's not under warranty anymore.
Of course it's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did they say anything about like it's your fault for?
No, I asked them. No, they're like they're like, yeah, you're just at 100,000 miles and you tow with it,
And you need a new transmission for $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
New transmission or?
Yeah, so they could patch it basically, which would cost me $5,000, but there's only warranty on the part they replace in the transmission. Whereas if they replace the whole thing, it's a 3-year unlimited mile replacement warranty. So really
Wow.
3 years.
That's ridiculous.
It's nuts. Yeah, it's crazy. The HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Rack Hub.
Well, dude, sheds are starting to hit the ground.
Yeah, and although we usually don't find many of them, we've done pretty well this season so far.
I would say for just, a handful of walks, we've got a pile of sheds to show for it. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, if shed season would end today, I think it was pretty successful.
So this year we're partnering with Rack Hub. It's an antler mounting system for your sheds.
Yeah, and obviously people have watched our podcast. We've got this massive pile of sheds that are on the table at all times, but you guys took the time to set up Wide Boy Shed on the R1, which is a really cool way to now have that thing right off to my left-hand side during the podcast.
So some of these sheds just call for a little bit more appreciation, I guess. So rather than being on a pile on the table, we're going to mount them on the wall, and they look awesome. So
Yeah, and so if anybody wants to try Rack Hub, you can use the code HUNTR10, HUNTR10 at rackhub.com to get 10% off your order.
use Rack Hub to make the most of your shed season.
TJ, should we talk about your passion?
Yeah, we can talk about Rack Hub if you guys want.
Yeah, let's
Let's do
talk
it.
about it.
Okay. Where should we
Hub
start?
rack or rack hub?
Huh?
What'd you say?
Rack Hub.
Oh, rack hub.
What do you
Hub rack or rack hub?
either one?
Hub
You
Rack.
get to the same spot.
Okay.
Yeah,
about-
well, give us a rundown. Give us so everybody knows what Rack Hub is. They've seen it on our stuff.
Yeah,
behind
we've got 'em
us
all
and-
over the
Yeah.
place here.
We've talked about it quite a bit. You know what I mean? Where all the antlers are mounted on.
But obviously from us, they see whitetail stuff mainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Started again 2018, really, seeing a trend of a lot of people collecting sheds, even ourselves, Keegan and I, like he mentioned, planting food plots just for collecting sheds. And it's, out west, it's always been popular. It's just kind of moved more Midwest. And there's really no way to display them that we found that represented the antler. When you have a big antler and it's just laying on the table, like, yeah, you can tell it's big, but it doesn't do it justice. When you get it up in that orientation close to how it's sitting on a deer's head, you can just appreciate it more. So we went through all the phases of, well, we don't want to drill in it, so let's do this or that. And we came back to like, no, the only way we can do it is to put a tiny little hole in it, drop in this part where there's no epoxies, no glues. It needs to be so DIY friendly that even like my wife can do it, because we want that customer to have a good experience. They can do it right now. Like you can buy the thing, get it, open it, drill bits with it, mount it right now. And it's truly it's just all about mounting that memory. You know, whether you're a hunter or not, you might have, somebody might have gifted you an antler that was meaningful to them, and therefore it's meaningful to you, and it's a way to display it. Yeah, you can leave them lay, but man, there's just something about getting it up on the wall to appreciate it. And when you walk by it, you can relive that memory right now. It's the same reason we all grew up with black mounts, Euro mounts, shoulder mounts. This is just another option. It might be for you, it might not, and that's okay. But we're here to mount more antlers, mount more memories. And we got a lot of products now and keep making more.
You just come up
to
with
do
that
that
right now?
What?
Mount more antlers, mount more memories?
We trademarked Mount Your Memories.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, it's the truth. We came back to that. We started out not knowing anything. We're selling all the features, right? We spent all this engineering time and all this time R&D to try and make the perfect widget to do this. And that's the truth, blood, sweat, and tears and all the normal startup. But ultimately, we've tried to make a product to where you have a great experience start to finish. So if that is finding a shed, buying a shed, killing a deer, for daughter's first deer, grandpa's buck, it doesn't matter. We got products to get that on the wall and mount your memory. So that's at the core. That's what we're here for, and we happen to make products that do that.
I mean, I think the shed side of it, you know, out of the gate was one of the ones where it was like almost like oh, yeah, that makes sense. Like, because most people, you know, their sheds are sitting up there in a pile or in a corner or in a Christmas tree pile or whatever. And it's like, you know, first of all, for anybody that like actually shed hunts, like when you find a big shed, it's like, you know, it's a big moment.
Yeah.
You know, they're not easy to find. You know, and so when you find it, it's like there's this honoring of a deer that, you know, oftentimes is still walking around out there that you want to be able to show off and display, you know, and it's a trophy as much as a shoulder mount is or anything else. So I think that was kind of like the aha moment for us. It was like, well, yeah, we've got like some awesome sheds that mean a lot to us, but we like, they're just on the table or they're in a pile. Like,
Yeah.
what do we do with them?
You're not reliving that memory. It's the whole reason why we've grown up with pictures surrounding us. We're buying and framing pictures to relive that vacation or that special moment when someone got married in the family, or it's seeing it and then reliving it.
Yep.
And that's all we're trying to do. And it's another tool to do that. It may be for you, it may not, and that's okay, but we're trying to make it easy to get them up on the wall. And you know, we've evolved as a company, as products. You know, we launched the RH2, which is our hero product. Hold it up. This is the first one. It's to mount a match set of sheds or cutoff antlers. And then the RH1, which you see here, we just mounted your guys' shed on. It's sitting on a pedestal. We started with those two, and people, you know, beat us up because it's new. There's no education. It's not like you can compare price and style to a like product. It doesn't really exist. So we tried to make something more economic as far as cost goes, and that you look at this antler bar, it's like it's an elaborate lag bolt, essentially all it is. It has the same hex feature on top to mate with our antler insert that gets tapped in the bottom of the antler, and this I think runs you $15 or $17, and an RH1 is $49. And you'd be amazed how little we sell of those because people want the ball joint, they want to be able to position it the way they want, they want to be able to display it where it's presentable, and so it's interesting that, you know, people are willing to pay for something like that, just like you would a booklet, a photo album, anything. I mean, taxidermy, shoulder mounts, fish. I mean, none of it's cheap, but it is meaningful, and you're willing to pay for that experience and frame it. So
yeah, I mean, you think about any like really like deep whitetail addict, and let's say you walk into their hunting room or their den or whatever, and, you know, besides looking at the mounts, the first thing they're do is like, hey, check out this shed or these sheds from this buck or whatever it is. I mean, think about how many sheds like
Cody sitting back here. I brought Cody to my house last night and I'd take him right to my office. I'm like, check it out, dude. Here's my shot this buck over there, and here's my shed, and this, and it's just what you do. And then you're like, oh, then I'm like, catch myself. I'm like, am I talking too much about the deer that I shot and stuff? And you're like, yeah. But
you
yeah,
just care and you love
what you
it.
do.
And it's there, and you can talk about it.
We did exactly that last night. I pulled that Pretty Boy shed that I had Antlers by Klaus fix up for me that's mounted on an RH1. I pulled it off, and I said, check it out. Here's the biggest shed I've ever missed on public land, or found on public land, and I missed this buck 2 years prior. And I have a big canvas painting of the river bottom that's there right next to it. I was like, there it is. And we relived it together.
Yeah, I mean, I put an arrow in the shoulder of this deer.
Yep.
You know, we watched him for 4 years, and he blew up into a 180, and I drilled him in the shoulder. And the next season, not that spring, the next season, we were tracking one of our buddies' bucks that he hit, and I was walking through a piece of timber, and I look, and I'm like, that looks like a shed. I walked over, there it was, just like that, from the year prior. You know, and so it's
mega
like,
giant.
Mega.
It's like
He's a stud.
it's like, you know, those are the things where again,
10-year-old Kansas buck.
Oh my gosh.
for what
Monarch.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years, like we had the shed, but it just sat somewhere,
Yeah.
right? So immediately, like when we had this, we were like, well, yeah, this one's getting mounted. We had a lot of history with that deer. That one's getting mounted. Those are sheds off of a buck I killed several years later. That one's getting. So like it immediately. Now the deer that we want to talk about and have history with are like they're highlighted.
Those are the ones you mount. Those are the ones you frame so you can talk about.
Yeah.
But you got your whole album over here, which is your pile I
Yeah.
can see on the cabinet. So those
Yeah.
are there. After we talk about these, we'll talk about those. So
Yep.
and that's what we found people have done. But you'd be amazed how hard we were reamed on drilling into the antler at the early stages. We didn't want to do it ourselves because it's a shed, right? You want to leave them untouched and natural, which in truth, any form of taxidermy,
Yeah,
any form,
it's not.
sawzalls, drills, epoxies, glues, bondos, hacking and cutting and gluing and sewing. So we came full circle, came back like, no, this is the best option we can think of. I mean, we're pretty proud of what we've developed. We know that there's always ways to refine it, and that's why we rely on our customers, keep giving us feedback and reviews and all the things. But it is just another option, and it's really kind of wound down. We haven't heard a ton recently. People just trust, I guess, rack hub now, which thankfully that's pretty awesome, and they just drill it. Like you, best shed you got, mount it.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I think if you understand like how tough a deer antler is, right, then you become more comfortable with it. Like, you know, Keegan sitting over here with a giant, you know,
yeah, hold that up, Keegan.
But that one is drilled. It's drilled out.
Yeah, so that's another thing we constrained ourselves with is we want it to work for every antler. So Keegan's mounting a stud spike there.
That's more hunter style.
A stud spike, which, hey, it's a memory. It might be your
I mean, but
daughter,
seriously, think about like, you know, you see this thing from a mile away. You
Yeah.
trip on a spike.
Yeah, they're harder to find.
It's harder to find.
Yeah, and this one is actually a cutoff match set. But it just goes to show that the insert is so minimal, you can mount spikes and
Right. Which is cool.
anything north of it. And the same goes for big game, elk and moose, spikes to world class. So we try and make them bulletproof enough to hold them as well, which is important to us because we want to sleep at night and know that antlers are.
I think the
antlers
shed
hanging out.
thing is awesome. I mean, it's such a cool way to highlight it. Like, you know, I can already picture like in my camp where I'm going to have a bunch on the wall and stuff. Just, you know, deer that you had history with, the ones that got away type of thing.
Yep,
You know, I mean, how else are you going to talk about them and remember them?
exactly.
They're a really nice accent piece. They fit so well, like beneath pictures or just kind of like in crevices that it's like, what else would you put there?
Yeah, nothing.
You know, and short of just having them in a pile on the floor, it's like it's a really nice new, like almost innovative, like decorative piece.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. There's actually a lot of non-hunters, people that just want to decorate with antlers,
Yeah.
like your Pinterest and all that whole interior design side, that they're mounting them. And we got boutiques, and heck, we sold to a dental office with antler bars because those are kind of cool. It looks like the antler's floating.
Sure.
And that's just this little guy. So we found a lot of people that have storefronts or just more decor. They're just throwing antlers up because it balances their space. They want to bring nature inside.
Cool rustic.
Yeah.
Drilling the antler doesn't really bother me. I'm trying to remember if it did initially. I mean, I've been using them for 2-3 years now at least.
After you do it once, it's like, and because I've witnessed so many people, I've drilled into thousands at this
I
point.
was nervous the first time.
The first
more
time-
about like, am I going
Right.
to penetrate the other side? Am I going to drill the wrong direction?
Like I was telling you guys earlier when we were doing the thing out there at the rack hub tree or whatever we call that display, base of the antlers is where the density's at, and after that it gets pretty porous. So that's why the inserts they're short. I mean, even our XL is less than 1.5 inches in overall height. So you don't have to drill that deep, and you can put a piece of tape around the drill bit that we send with you because we send the drill bits with every product. So you don't have to think, you just chuck it up and drill. But yeah, it's after you do it once, it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Yeah, I've gotten pretty accustomed to it, and I've never actually done that. I've never like ruined an antler or anything.
Yeah. No, we try and make it as foolproof as possible. Again, it's all about that experience. So when you get the box, nice unveiling, products there, instructions have pictures for Jared, so you can just look at it real quick.
He's going to make assumptions.
Yep, exactly. He's going to assume. So we try and lay it out 1, 2, 3. We even have a drill tap display. It is that easy. Drill tap display and you're done. But no epoxies, glues, none of that stuff. Just drill bit, tap it in, mount it. You can do it same day. And what we were kind of naive early on. We thought sheds, right? Shed solution. Well, heck, half of our reviews online are harvest. So people are killing critters, cutting them off and mounting them because with the economy, things have changed. We became more affordable. But it's also the timing. You can do it right now. So, like the bucks my wife and I have killed recently, a lot of buddies, we're just killing them, cutting them off, and throwing them on an RH2. You can pull with, if you want to represent it exactly like he was real quick.
I think that was one that, even I've run into, like, with the kids, like, European mounts are cool, and, like, they have their place, but there's only so many, like, you could do and display. So it was like, all right, well, I'll just do skull caps. But that's sometimes even harder because now I've got, like, what am I, the old days of just drilling that into a stud and, like, putting it on the wall have kind of passed. So you're gonna put. They have. It's
interesting how the skull caps have kind of just like that. They don't really do those.
Like
anymore.
Mine used to be on, like, I would get whatever, like a cross section of wood and put it on the plaque and, like, throw some felt over it or whatever.
Yep.
But that, like, doesn't fly as much anymore.
Who doesn't it fly with?
Probably my wife.
Yep.
Well, just in general.
Yeah.
The felt skull cap mounts. Or they just, you don't see it. It's just
like it was a thing of the 90s.
Yeah, and it's just over. It's like corduroy jeans. We all loved them.
Green,
We loved them, and it was great. But it's over.
The thing we have less of, and all you guys know it, everyone in here, is time.
I'm gonna kill a giant. And put it on one of those.
It's time. So you don't have half a Saturday to dedicate to boiling and cutting and cleaning and then plaque mounts.
Those take
so
time.
So what, you spend $20 on it, but you spend half your Saturday or all Saturday mounting the darn thing. With this, you can do it in a literal minute. So what do you value your time at? And again, it's just another tool, another option. We got a review we loved, but somebody put wife approved because it doesn't have eyeballs, it doesn't have hair, it doesn't have a skull.
Sure.
But the person who got the deer can bring it inside more times than not. Boyfriend or husband can bring it inside and hang it inside and get away with it.
You tell her.
Yeah. Here you go. Link to RH2. This will help you out. Listen, Linda.
We get stories from folks that have killed 175-inch deer, and they've got his 2, 3, 4-year-old sets, right, and they're going on RH2s below him or around him or whatever.
That's awesome.
On a shoulder mount, right? So that's also mounting that memory still in a fashion, you know.
Yeah.
So
seeing
that's
those
awesome.
pictures are pretty sweet because I only found a single this year, but when he was 4, I got the match set, and 5th he was chewed up, but here it is displayed.
I almost want to believe,
like, you see the journey and then shoulder mount.
I would, even if I had multiple, like if I had a more than 2 off of a deer, even if I had multiple from a single year, I would just do the ones.
Yeah.
I would do 2, 3, 4, and here he is at 5 when I killed him, like an actual pedestal mount or something. I'd keep the other, if I had another side off of one of the prior years, I'd just have it loose.
We just had a gal, I think it was an Axis buck match set. She bought 2 RH1s because it's pretty cool. She had like this gable spot on her tall wall, and she took the match set, 2 RH1s, and spread them out a little further, and then she had some decorative piece in between them, but I had never seen that. I thought that was pretty sick. Yeah, use the match set.
Mount them as a match,
but scooted them out like a foot or 2. So it's kind of a cool idea. So we're constantly getting pictures that are like, we never thought of that. But one thing to note is we are 4 taxidermists, so we've got a ton of products we haven't even talked about now with the partnership with Antler Tech, which does amazing skulls that uses our ball joints to mount the antlers to them, so it works for shed solutions. Then we got the skull caps that our ball joints drop in, so you can put sheds on a shoulder mount, swap out sheds. You guys saw that.
Yeah, which is really cool.
So it's not like we're trying to take away business. We're trying to make it a little more innovative and give people time back and other tools in their toolbox.
These skull options are pretty wild.
I mean, look at this. This one was hand painted, so they sell them in the raw form, raw white, but like the teeth detail here,
you almost can't tell.
Yeah.
No, and even feeling it, It's got
heavy.
the weight, but
Yeah.
you just pull
You
the
walk
ball
a
joint
line
out.
there too of like there's a risk of like, you don't want a fake looking European like I've seen them. Those look really real.
Yeah, so I mean, you can take it off an RH2, and now it lives on a skull.
Oh,
Let's see if I
dude,
can do it.
there's that deer.
So there you go. If you're a Euro guy, now you can get your match set on a skull. So it's really
That buck's gonna be a
evolved.
stud this year.
Dude, he's a tank.
He's old. I don't know if I think he went downhill actually. He's like 7.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though. Because I mean that's it. It's like okay, I could see a lot of guys saying, well, I don't really want to cut the antlers off and then lose like the deer feeling, right?
Right.
But ultimately, by having those kind of Antler Tech skull bases, right? It's like, okay, we'll still cut it off, just put it on that, and you have the deer fill. And if you want to swap it out with sheds or whatever, you can do that at some point.
Yeah, and it's all up to you. They've designed it so the pedicles here, they're a little taller. So if you want to get a seamless look and marry them, you can. Otherwise, it's a pretty good fit where you can't tell from afar that like the bottom of the bases are a little rough. So it's all up to you and how you want to display it. But again, just trying to give enough tools here where it's not overwhelming, but specific to that look that you want.
We were talking about the easy drop into that.
Yep.
Being able to just, you're not any epoxies or anything. You're able to adjust everything on that set screw on the back.
Yep. Every ball joint, you got the top knurled cap to tighten it and get it mostly tight, which will work for most of the critters. And you can point load with a set screw on the bottom. And we provide that Allen wrench with every product that has a ball joint. So it's that double lock tech is what we call it. But that's where you can lock in that spot where if you remove the antler when you're showing Cody your sheds in your office, you can go dock it right back where you had that perfect setting. And that's because of the hex to hex fitment we have on the tip of every ball or stem on the antler bars there.
On the tip.
On the tip.
Pretty cool,
Just
man.
Tip.
In the future, I think the future of the rest of 24 is exciting, really exciting. A lot of new innovative things will be on the horizon, I guess you could say.
Are you guys announcing anything today or not yet?
Well, we're showing this. It probably won't be available here in September when it launches. But
That pedestal?
This is a brand new
Yeah, that's sweet.
all metal pedestal. Obviously it's pretty sleek and modern, but it works in any setting. It's got the right size where you stack books on it, set your favorite bourbon on it. It's just sleek and minimal, so you can focus on your antler.
You could put the other, if you had a match set, you could put the loose side just sitting right there, so you could pick that one up and handle it.
Yep. Or you just mount an RH2 here and have the match set.
Have the match set showing.
Either way. But yeah, that one's new. Taxidermy 2-pack, which is these guys. These are versatile. So we send it with this. This is a 3D printed collar, but it's tough enough to do everything that we want. So you can make a mold to make your skull. So you can use this as the plug to make your own mold. There's guys making their own skulls and whatnot. Or we retrofitted an existing shoulder mount. So we just used a hole saw, 1 3/8 for the deer size.
Yep.
Drill them out, and now you can mount any shed you want on it.
So you're going into an existing shoulder mount, drilling it out, placing this in there.
Yep.
And then being able to...
Exactly. You put any shed on it you want and swap them out. So you can be like, your deer camp with the buddies. What'd he look like as a 3-year-old? Pop him in. Man, what'd he do when he was 4? Pop him in. So, and then again, skull plates for new taxidermy. Just the plate to wrap the hide over. So, yeah, there's more things.
That's the interchangeable as well. That skull plate that's going to sit in.
Same thing. It's just connecting the two.
That'd be pretty cool. I mean, you think about, you get a good buck or whatever and you pull a cape, to have like one of those ones to start, like maybe it is that deer, but then to be able to use that as the base to swap out other match sets and stuff like that would be pretty cool.
Yep. And all the inserts are interchangeable. So we just have deer collection and then the big game. So once you have some, you can buy more inserts in the future to swap out existing products. So I can take this antler off, get more inserts, and now I'm mounting a mule deer shed or something. So it's all versatile and it all works. We're trying to make it easy. So it took us a while to get going because we didn't want to have to revise that future us if we didn't have to. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. So nothing coming with these yet then?
These are available. So these are available on Antler
The
Tech.
real ones, though, as far as a mounting system? I don't want to give it away without.
Oh, there's definitely something for that. Yeah,
But we're not talking about it yet
we
today.
we can tease it. There's going to be a solution to hang these things. for sure.
For your European mounts.
For European mounts, yeah.
Okay.
White
I don't want to
tail.
put words in your mouth. I'm just bringing it up.
You said it.
I like it.
Yeah.
You're talking my language. It gets me excited.
Yeah. Well, so I've done more European mounts recently. I've got an elk. I've got several whitetails that I've done. I've done my own in the past, and like it's fine. It's laborious though.
It's laborious.
and I end up breaking nose bones and stuff. And so I've got a good enough relationship with my taxidermist.
What'd you do with the two Illinois bucks? Floppies.
Floppy's a euro. I got them back
Yep.
already. Paid $100. Had them euroed.
Yep.
Looks great.
Yep.
Cody held them last night. Just
Yep.
sitting there.
Just floppy.
The bow buck I'm having a shoulder mount.
You are having a shoulder mount. Yep.
So for under 100 or for under $200, you'll be able to have a euro. And
Yeah, mounted to
maybe
the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is like, okay, you paid $100 for the euro. People just instantly they're like, oh, I'm gonna buy this $19 hanger on Amazon and I'm gonna put it up.
Well,
and it's a pain in the ass.
For some transparency on like the price of taxidermy, it's like, dude, I paid $750 for that pedestal mount, and it looks amazing.
For
And
your
it's awesome,
pedestal?
and I wouldn't do
That's
anything
cheap.
else.
I was gonna say that's
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah,
cheap.
and I think he might have cut me a deal.
He definitely did.
Yeah, because those are like $1,500 to $2,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and I provided my own barrel.
Yep.
Which was that
okay.
helps out
That
a lot.
helps.
He
Okay.
didn't build any of the base. He just gave me the
Yep.
the post
so you,
amount.
it's still probably he cut you a deal.
So it's
He
like
did.
$750. The head, the straight shoulder mount like that is like $550.
That's cheap. I mean, nobody's under 6 anymore around us, is there?
I don't
more
know
like
if there's anybody under 750.
yeah.
Well, he may be just giving me some sweet deals. I don't know.
I think
Trav's
he
like,
is.
Yeah,
for-
he might be taking.
Look-
I
look
know
at
he
for a
listens to
shout
every.
out.
I know he
Strangle
listens
ya.
to every one of these.
He's
So,
like,
strangle you.
so Trav, I appreciate the discounts and stuff. So, and
Code
then
110.
for a euro. Yeah,
we
for,
send him a lot of business.
for a euro. I think it was $100, maybe 150.
Yeah.
That sounds about right, though.
150.
Best
Yeah.
money I've ever spent. You know what I mean? Just like, because I've done them and I'm like, forget this, dude.
Yeah.
Like I've got my pliers and my everything to try to pick them out, and they're fine, but I break a nose bone, and it's just like I waste half a day trying to do
Yeah.
it. I'm like,
Yep.
just give it to the guy. Do your thing.
Got the old smelly deer
I'll
juice
pick
and
it
just
up.
like dumping in the backyard. Dogs are.
I
eating
did
it.
my
Yep.
work. You know, what I mean, I'm passionate about the land management portion of it, the actual hunting strategy. It's like just to make it look great, make it,
Yep.
make it.
You
And
do-
it's fun to be able to trust somebody like that too, where I don't even pick my poses anymore. I'm like, you know what, like,
Just do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he takes care of me. So
Yeah.
So yeah, no, a lot of exciting things coming.
Cool.
Really exciting, and a lot of that will come through the end of 24, and I think there's some things here for 25 that are sort of on the docket too. That again, just evolving or
Yeah, it's listening to-
evolving the taxidermy world.
I'm taking credit for the European mount.
You can
frankly.
take it. Yeah, sure.
And
Thank you, Jared.
yeah, I feel like
that just
I
'cause
know
you
what your
bitched- you
customers
bitched-
want because I am.
You bitched enough about it.
Yeah.
He did. He's loud
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
I couldn't put enough oil on that squeaky wheel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it's a need for sure. And it just takes time to make it right where
Yep.
you're solving problems and making it worth it for us and the customer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're excited.
We
for
have
sure.
we have a promo code too, right? For Hunter
We do.
for Rack Hub.
Yeah. Do you remember what it is?
110.
110. There you
Yep.
go.
110.
110 will get you 10% off anything on the
Anything.
Rack Hub website. Correct.
Yep. And that even works for shed season too.
On the Shed Season website too. Yep.
Yeah.
So the RH1s, the RH2s. Some of these products probably may not be on the website by the time you listen to this, but it sounds like more coming throughout the year here. So yeah, to our listeners, check out the website and.
I mean, dude, I know a lot of people are listening. They've got a shed in mind where they're like,
it needs to be on
that
the wall.
one needs to be on the wall.
Yeah, that's what we know. It's not for every single antler. I mean, that would add up
Sure.
cost wise. You don't have the space for it, but for the ones that you just know, like that one needs to be up.
I mean, dude, if you had a history, like if I had history with that deer and I could build out like his 2 to probably 5 when I killed him,
Yep.
that'd be sick.
I know. Yeah, we've got people that can do
There's
it.
a lot of guys that have that kind of crazy history with deer where they've got sheds from, since the deer was 2 or 3 years old.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. What else are you doing? They're just laying in a pile somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah, and there's guys that have said that 3 years ago, and now they're a customer just because they, and we get it. It takes time. You got to process all the pros and cons, and then finally it's like, yep,
Yeah.
I need to get that one up on
Well,
the
like
wall.
you said, it's
and
not for all of them.
No, and it's not permanent. You can pluck it off the wall. And
well, that's what I was gonna say. Is like, okay, here it is, and then like I don't know, you kill another 5 or 6 year old, and you're
because we sell more inserts too. So even if you
to swap them.
Yep, to swap them. So
yeah, that's cool.
Again, try and make it easy. And
the taxidermy thing will be interesting, I think, to see how that really starts to take off, because that's I mean, you know, I've seen magnets before, I want to say, from somebody. Which, you know, I get it, but it definitely seems like there's a little wobble there, you know?
Well, it's when you don't have a ball joint or something like that, you have labor to get it to look right.
Right, because it's wherever it sits, that's how it sits.
Yep. So then you got to take the thing back out and carve on it a little bit, get your angle, sand it to get the angles right. I mean, and
then it's not going to work if you put a different set of antlers on it because you've already set it.
Correct. Where ours, you loosen the ball joint and move it. And
makes sense.
We went through that whole journey to get to where we're at. I mean, because we were thinking of everything, the most minimal intrusive things, and we came back to this because it's really hard to get more sleek than what we have.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of complex things, but again, time. How do you value your time? Try and make it easy.
Yeah, it's kind of wild because I mean we've kind of followed you guys probably since fairly early in this.
You were an early customer, I feel like, Jared, like 3+ years.
How do we meet?
I don't know. Farmers only?
It might have been.
Slid in the DMs.
Yeah, Tinder. It was probably at a trade show. I want to say.
I don't actually remember.
I don't know if it was.
It's been a while now we've known each other.
When did shed season start?
2 years ago.
2 years ago?
2 or 3, yeah.
I remember you being like, hey, we're launching a new initiative. So it's been longer than that.
It's been longer than that.
Half rack right around.
Half rack was 2020 or 21, probably 21. Does that sound right,
dude?
Keegan?
It's been a while.
Because when did we get these sheds? 2020.
I don't know.
I think so. Right?
Maybe.
No, it might have been even before that. Because
I'm trying to remember where I met you at or how I met you. If it was at a trade show.
We were in ATA in 2019, so it could have been that.
So
when we went. That's when we went. Or like, all right, do we have expensive prototypes here only for us, or do we have something? And that's when it was.
Yeah, I think that's
reception.
What it was. It was either.
Is that the first time you went?
Yeah, we were in Innovation
Okay, so it wasn't
Zone.
then because
it was the next year.
I remember seeing
went
that
in 2020.
and being like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah,
because
maybe that was it. Maybe it was ATA.
Because you winged Pretty Boy in 19, fall of 19. So we would have went to ATA in 20. We hadn't started HUNTR yet. You still were working for me at Stone Road. So we would have been there.
Stone Road, yep. I remember that.
We would have been there for Stone Road. And then it was that spring we found those 2 sheds, that March or April, which I'm sure you connected the dots and were like, hey, that would be.
Maybe I just bought some first for that.
I feel like you did. I think you
Because you sent him off to Klaus, though, for repairs.
Yep. And I definitely bought one for that shed.
I remember, yeah.
Yep.
Maybe that's why. Maybe I bought one for that shed, and then we somehow got connected after the fact.
Must have.
Because I remember walking around maybe at the next ATA show, and you gave us the half rack little bags that we keep all our Lone Wolf straps in.
I use that
snack pack.
I use that on every
That'd have been Louisville because that was Half-Rack's first.
We put all of our our Lone Wolf
straps
in there and have it right on our stands and sticks.
It's just the right size to fit.
It's perfect. I fit 4
in the quiet.
Four straps in there, and I loop it through itself on my pack.
Yep.
Because you got the squeezy choker at the top.
Choker.
So
you're like, oh, it's a snack pack. We're like, oh, we know what we're using this for.
Strap.
Money.
Strap.
And he sent me like 4 of them, so we're nice.
Strap packs.
Strap pack.
We're in good shape.
Yeah. So that was probably the evolution of how it happened.
And then we talked Stone Road, I remember.
Yep.
Big 8 and
There's been a lot
Racco.
of introductions since then.
Yeah, because
TJ's the king of networking. Like there's been a lot of connections that have been made since then. All of our apparel comes through a connection that you made for us.
Yeah.
Not just the designs, which you guys
Like
helped
the
us with,
actual
but the
apparel.
fulfillment of it. Yeah. So
Pete and the gang up there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, too, and part of that reason was you guys sent us the shed season hoodies.
Yeah.
And it's the most comfortable hoodie I have.
all of it. All the t-shirts, it was just all I wore. I'm like, these are just great.
Yeah.
We were picky on the blanks, right?
Because they're insane.
We wanted to send out products that people wanted to wash and wear and where again, because we've all got the cheap Gildine or Gildan.
Yeah, they stand up in the corner by themselves.
Exactly. Yep. You wear them once, you're like, oh,
yeah,
goodness. So yeah, it costs more for us, but it matters. We want people to be able to rewear them
too.
Yeah.
So,
it was
you
awesome.
guys are using the same, right?
Exact same. Yeah, we've got stuff printed on this exact shirt right here.
District, I believe, is what it is. Nice blend,
It's
comfortable.
really nice.
It's not skin tight. It's just, but it's not too
Makes
big.
the biceps look pretty nice.
Well, yours fit in them, so that's good.
I knew that was coming.
I knew biceps were coming
I'm just
out.
glad TJ sits next to him and we don't have to. We had one of our guests the other day was like, man, in retrospect, I wish I didn't sit next to Jared. Made me look so small.
I said, and old. Yeah, you look old too.
I can laugh through it.
Yeah. But no, that's funny how that, it just takes time on the networking side. And you never know.
Well,
where
and we've
things are gonna go.
appreciated that. That's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it's what it's all about. It's what Keegan and I always talk about. We're surrounded by a bunch of good people, and sometimes things work, sometimes they don't, but we're just honest through it all, even in the relationships and things, so you can connect dots.
Yeah, one of us works with one brand, and in some way, shape, or form, somebody else in our group is going to get in a great way.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
awesome.
saying?
Yeah.
Like, or two people, or it just, and that's how we all connect. Continue to connect. I guess is in that fashion.
Yep. Well, so we're really appreciative of the partnership too. So you guys have sponsored the podcast with Rack Hub and stuff, and so we feel like we bring value in that. A lot of our listeners, this is a viable product for them. This is something that we use that I think
Clearly.
obviously, and something I think our listeners would use too. So like it's a no-brainer for us. And so while we're weary of a sponsorship model, right, and hesitant to take them on, this just makes perfect sense. So we're honored with the partnership and stoked to have you guys, and the fact that you made the trip down here to talk to some person stuff too is huge.
It's mutual. I mean, we have a standard at Rack Hub. If the people that we work with and partner with aren't authentic users, it's not going to be a good fit. And so that's why a lot of these partnerships just take time. Because we get blown up on DMs and, hey, sponsor us, or can we work together? And first question I'll ask them, it just happened this week, have you ever used our products? And every time it's, well, no. And I was
Thinking
like, well, we're willing to hook you up.
Yep.
Let's communicate through this. But if you try it and don't like it, it's going to be a waste of your time and ours. So that's just why it's been a little slower for us to partner up with folks. And we've been communicating since it sounds like 19 or 20, and it was time.
Funny.
Finally time. And it's, we're here. We're trying to answer every single DM, email, messenger, YouTube question, all the things. We're trying to respond and innovate on these products and refine them. So please keep letting us know what we're missing or need to fix, and we'll do our best. So
And we said pre-podcast, you obviously online on the website, but you're also in Shields?
we're in Shields. We're in some other retailers, mom and pop shops, Amazon. We own our Amazon. So we're there. If that's where you're buying, you got to be where your customers are at. So we're on Amazon. We own our website. We ship right away. Russell's a beast, and I could name drop all. We've got so many good people behind the scenes helping make this happen. It's not just Keegan and I. There's a bunch of guys and gals. So, website, Amazon, some brick and mortar stores, and we're open to more dealers too if that's available. We got retail pricing, good margin because everybody needs to win.
Yep.
So, and we make almost all of it here. We assemble it here. The brackets are the only things we bring in, and we're transparent about it. And we are, because we've tried to make that part here, and it's just really expensive on tooling and the material. So we're open about it. If you got help and let's chat. But
awesome.
We try and overbuild these things because antlers matter. We're the customers too, and we care about all of them. Want to get them on the wall.
It's cool, man. No, I mean, it's a perfect timing for this. I mean, whether people are thinking about sheds they have or obviously the upcoming season. I mean, yeah, and just it's funny because like I remember, I think it was the R1 was like that was kind of like the product that originally
RH1.
RH1. I'm always picking on Jared. He probably influenced you to call it R1.
We just cut corners. RH1.
Yeah.
That's probably like the first one we were like, okay, yeah, cool, like sheds and stuff. But so to see you guys evolve the product line, I think has been really cool to see, and obviously just continuing to solve some issues that a lot of us have.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Trying to make it easy.
Cool. Well, good deal, man. Well, we appreciate you boys coming from Indiana. It was funny. Jared's like, yeah, they're coming to see. I was like, oh, what are they coming to do? He's like, podcast. I was like, oh, like they're not just passing through or anything. And so, no, we appreciate you boys coming in and spending some time with us. And yeah, you know, hopefully we'll be able to put more of the products to use this year if we end up pulling the trigger on some stuff.
Yeah.
That'll be the plan. And you guys will have to keep us updated with the war on deer in northern Indiana.
On the cross gun situation.
Oh yeah, Keegan will fill you in.
Keegan.
Get one of those blister packed for you.
Is there cross guns here?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's why we're bitter about it.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
I don't know anywhere that they're not anymore besides Iowa.
Iowa. They're the last stronghold.
Yep.
Always are.
Yeah.
They keep
Respect
them. They
on.
keep them reserved for the injured child females.
Yeah, child females.
And it's, I'm telling you, it's the guy that
Fire him up
says,
again, Jared.
it's the guy that says, I bow hunt.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're like, no, you don't.
What do you
No,
shoot?
no, I do. You're like, no, you
No,
don't.
No, but you don't even know
You
what
know.
they shoot at this point, right? You dig in. So
but a
what do you-
guy I know.
yeah.
A guy, him and her, yeah, they crossbow hunt. They bow hunt.
What do you shoot? Oh, I shoot it. I feel like I'm throwing Raven under the
Yeah,
bus.
they're
I'd
the
love
one.
To, I'd love to own Raven from a business perspective.
Sure.
I shoot a Raven. I shoot a 10-point. You shoot a what?
Did you punch him right in the face at that time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, you made a cross gun.
There's a
Gotcha.
good chance you might see Jared up there killing all the seed corn as well. Like
Oh, yeah.
just blowtorching the shit out of it. Ending all baiting in
Making
the
popcorn.
United States. Just cutting it off at the source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Mowing down the mail rows.
Yeah.
Try to
I'll
bait
be out there
without
with my
any corn.
blowtorch and my butter. I'll just be.
He's pilling him back. He's
There's
like, I
an
don't
image.
understand if this is a male or a female.
Didn't get any fresher than that. Yeah,
Eating them both.
Where's the wiener?
That's funny stuff.
Well, with that, I think our audience has had enough probably
Yeah,
for the day.
probably.
So we appreciate everybody joining us and the Rack Hub guys being here, and we'll catch you all next week.
Later.
Later. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Take me